Okay, so the energy level should be really high, as Divya was saying. Okay, please ensure that nobody is saying okay, fine, okay, you do it. No. It has to be like very high spread. Okay. Happy Women's Day to all. Blue morning.
Yeah. Blue morning. Yeah.
Blue morning.
Blue morning.
Yes. So that's how we are actually going to start the session. Yeah. Who are all non-blue? All non-blue, come over this side.
Blue and non-blue.
Please don't sit along with your friend. In the side.
Teams.
Yeah. So all blues will be in my right and all non-blues will be in my left. And you're all aware that it's going to be blue dress code, right? And still you have come without blue. Oh, spot registration. So we need one leader from each team, and we also need a name for the team. So non-blue has already selected a blue member as their team leader.
We need a team leader.
We need a team leader.
A big hand for the team leaders, please. Okay. Can we have each of you come with a team name?
Team name. It has to be really interesting, unique. You know, punch. You can even have a tagline also if you want.
Team name. We are bluebirds. Oh, very nice. Welcome, bluebirds. Non-blues?
Flying colors.
Correct. Blue color pair, correct. Okay. So each team leader, I'm going to give you a sheet of paper. You just need to write down the names of your team members. So it's also an interactive session for you to know everybody in your team.
So what we will do is that if someone else is going to join us, they can sit over there. So there is no confusion with it. They are all latecomers team. Over this side. Or they can join like now you just join that team.
Non-blue team. Left side.
Yeah, left side. Left side.
By the time chairman comes, all the three rows
Correct.
should be filled.
The leader will get a gift.
Team effort.
Yes,
Effort is this office.
we are done, right?
No, that. Thank you, ma'am. Super. Thank you. Is correct, ma'am. Okay, so we're going to play a quick game. To each team, that is not flying birds and flying colors. Flying colors and birds. We'll be giving out this sheet. Okay, this is basically what's in your first game. So there are number of items. Okay, with varying points, 1 point, 5 point and 10 point. So the maximum items that you collect as a team wins. Okay, so this will have things like license and all those things. So you need to collect one each from your team and put it in a box, and you need to hand it over to us. And the team that finishes or fastest, you have maximum of 3 minutes, or collects the maximum number of items wins. Okay?
So wait. I will just say when the time starts.
Team leader?
So no confusion. Silence, please.
We are giving each team 2
Two cards, okay?
but only one item, one number of each item.
What we'll do is we'll give like 1 minute for the team leader to just go through what is there in the list, and then we will immediately start. No, you have to just first go through. We'll give you like, 40 seconds to go
You
through.
have a total of 3 minutes for the game. Yeah.
So the time starts now.
Correct. So 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, so we have another small interesting game. Okay. Everyone settle down. Very small quick game now. Today is a blue day, right? Yes, so I want, if any of you are having any blue color cosmetics, you get a gift. The cosmetic doesn't include your bindi, your necklace, chain, your earring. All those are not included. It can be an eyeliner, blue color lipstick, blue color nail polish. Anybody interested with me? No, not accepted. Blue color?
This is included?
No, it's not included.
Included, right? Divya is saying it's
Not even chain. Hey, not everyone is having blue color chain. So then she gets a gift.
Divya?
Yes, you get a gift, ma'am.
You get it. Come. Blue color specs. Come.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Slippers blue.
Okay. Blue color slipper. Blue color specs. Kerchief, yes, okay. Third one, நிறைய பேர் blue color saree, blue color dress, so you will be wearing blue color. Very good. What is different?
Blue color badge.
Slipper, okay, good. That is not blue, that is purple. Okay, interesting. Blue color perfume.
So first try to get that.
Blue color slipper, blue color shoe. We have someone having blue color shoe. I have a blue color clip, blue color water bottle, blue color chain. Okay, yes, we are done. Okay, Kular ought to give the gift, but rather we wanted to create first an environment where everyone is enthusiastic, everyone is smiling, everyone is laughing, and everyone is happy. Yes. So no dull faces, no serious faces. Even though we have some technical sessions, it's not going to be too technical and too dry or boring. So we are going to have fun and only fun. Yes? So only smiles, no serious faces, no sad faces. Okay, so let's just get back to the previous one, what we wanted to play. We had the two team leaders write down the name of your team members, right? So whomever had not given your name as part of the team members, then you had joined late, please come to this side.
This side. Yeah.
Whomever was late and you have not given your name to the team leader. So please come to this side.
It's just for the game. So
Just
we
for
can
the
sit
game.
This side.
Yeah.
And we can finish it fast.
Because we start off with the game. So we continue to have the two teams here, right? So all of you have already given the names to your team leader. Am I right? Yes. So shall we start with the game?
So we need each team to stand in alphabetic order of your name. Okay? And the team that finishes the line fastest, it has to be only one line, and the leader has to tell me it's done. You have to raise your hand. We'll come check. That team wins. So one team here,
Yes, this team can actually, arrange yourself in alphabetical order.
Formal introduction during the session. We'll just close out whatever is happening and we'll start the formal session. Yeah. Is it over?
great job flying colors. A huge round of applause. You'll get your gift at the end of the session.
Then she was like only at the end of the session.
Thank you so much. Hello sir.
So much about you.
So nice. That's also easy. For the dinner, you could make it.
Everyone take the seat.
Yeah.
Abhishek is busy
I
coordinating
got
the
the
other.
bank.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Please be seated, ladies. We're going to start our session for the day.
Now I request to rise up for the ICI's motto song.
येष सुप्तेषु जागृति येष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रं ब्रह्मा तद् ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते अमृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः शतः सर्वे तदूनाद्यति कश्चन कश्चन एतद्वैत 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 एतद्वैत
Thank you. For the lighting of Kuttuvilakku, I request our chief guest Mrs. Chitra Venkatraman, guest of honor Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan, chairman of SIRC, CA Joman K. George sir, CA Revati Raghunathan ma'am, CA A.B. Geeta ma'am, and CA Geeta Kumar to do the honors please. call upon C.A. Revati ma'am to welcome the gathering.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. The dignitaries on the dais and all my fellow chartered accountants. Welcome to today's function. You all know International Women's Day is celebrated today worldwide, commemorating the political, social and economic achievements of women. See, I'm not going to say that we need women empowerment. All of us sitting here are empowered women and we are just celebrating today. So, over the decades, the objectives of Women's Day has evolved, and today it is more a celebration of the appreciation, respect and love towards women that is being done. So today this congregation is one of empowered women, and we are celebrating Women's Day by celebrating our journey in this tough profession, our sisterhood, and we are also celebrating to share our successes and learn from our failures. We are also celebrating our commitment to ourselves, our profession, our family, our society and our country. So we all know that our country has stood steadfast all the tests of time like war, recession and many other impediments, and we have emerged victorious. And it is an acknowledged fact that all this is due to the fact that ours is a country which is driven by the unacknowledged role that the women play. We are the people who are holding up our country. We are the backbone on which the country stands tall, and we are all celebrating that very proudly today. And we are also immensely proud that there are 2 women members who have been elected into the SIRC of ICAI, Geeta Arjun and myself, 1 lady vice chairman in the Kanchipuram branch, Geeta Kumar ma'am. We have the all-women Salem branch where they are celebrating Women's Day today, and many other branches across the country are being led by women today, which has not happened all these years. So we all are celebrating that today. So let's give ourselves a big ovation for this, bringing more women into the leadership roles. Thank you and welcome to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. I request C.A.D. Jayashankar sir, Chairman, Kanchipuram District Branch of SIRC, to address the gathering.
Good morning, the distinguished guests in the dais and the celebrities of today's program, the women's, all the professionals assembled here. It is a great day for celebrating this kind of womanhood. Woman is the backbone of family, the economy, the world. And this day is the mark of celebrating the various aspects of the woman in the society, and I wish this program should go in a successful way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our chairman, SIRC of ICAI, C.A. Jomon K. George, to deliver the inaugural address, please.
Good morning to all of you. Extremely delighted to stand before you this fine morning as the chairman of the Southern Region as we celebrate the International Women's Day. Behind and before every successful man, there is a woman. I am no exception. I have 5 women. About them, I'll talk a little later. The coordinator of this program, my very esteemed colleague in the Regional Council, Revati Raghunathan, the other colleague in the regional council from Bangalore, who stormed into the regional council with the highest ever number of votes in the history of the SIRC. Another dear friend whom I know for the last 15 years, last 16 years. Our very special guest of the day, Mrs. Justice Chitra Venkatraman. We should not say retired because justice never retires. And you cannot retire too now. Many more years of healthy, happy life for you. Guest of honor, Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan of Pennalam, who has been kind enough to bring her daughter-in-law also, who is a CA in the making. Welcome to you also. Another Geeta, there are so many Geetas here. Geeta, Vice Chairperson of the Kanchipuram branch, with whom SIRC is happily coordinating, organizing this Wednesday program. Other empowered ladies in the audience, and for one person who is giving company to me, the chairman of the Kanchipuram branch. And I am quite happy in the company of girls. I have always enjoyed the endearing elegance of female companionship, and I am extremely happy that I have two very charming colleagues in Geeta and Revati in my regional council team. I am from Kerala, so in Kerala we have 9 branches. Office this year, Alleppey, I know how many of you have been in Kerala, Alleppey, Calicut, and Alleppey, Calicut, and Trivandrum branch, not Trivandrum, Alleppey, Calicut, one more branch, the Trichure branch, are now chaired by, not chairmen, we call them chairma. Instead of saying chairperson. My mother was an English professor, so when there was centralized valuation, they used to put the chairman, and mom was the senior most in that. And then one morning she went and found that the N was missing, and she was quite happy to be called as the chairman. So great morning, absolutely great morning. And how can I not mention Divya, who broke all the ice here. His breaking session, we walked in, and even when the chief guest was walking in, he was so involved that we had to say, please sit down, settle down. And for a change, we men break ice in the evenings. So wonderful day, extremely happy to be part of this. And as David rightly said, we are all empowered. There's no difference between men and women. But for certain reason, because of the societal situations we have been to, there has been some kind of a feeling that we talk about the weaker sex and all that. I'm totally against that. I feel that every woman, every girl is empowered, but there are certain compulsions, regional compulsions, religious compulsions, whereby they are not able to come to the forefront of activities. It's very, very unfortunate. So we have so many of the empowered ladies here. I'm extremely happy. Let me talk about those 5 ladies who have been in my life, who are, 1 or 2 are not there. Let me start with my grandmother, my grandmothers, both of them. One grandmother was my paternal grandmother was very prayerful, and she was always very prayerful. And my maternal grandmother, we call her Villiyammachi in Malayalam. Villiyammachi is mother, grandmother. She was a very good best friend of mine, in fact. You know, we used to share jokes, and the evenings used to be very pleasant, and she was a very, very good friend. Then my mother, my mentor, and she was an English professor, as I mentioned. So whatever good things I've learned in my life, the first lessons, have always been home. And respect for ladies, rightly said, starts at home, not anywhere else. So today when we talk about on a Women's Day, are we talking only about empowering women, or are we also, as mothers, it's famously said that God could not be everywhere, so He created mothers. Am I right? So I'm seeing a lot of gods and goddesses in front of me. You can clap for yourself, no, why not? 2 advantages for clapping. One is that it will keep your nerves active for a longer session. 2, people outside would think that my speech is going very good. Thank you for that. Keep clapping, I'm happy about it. So my mom was an example of this godly mother, and she is no more. And then my sister, she settled in Bangalore. We grew up together until she was married and went to Bangalore. We still keep a very, very good positive relationship. She's at times a bit of a critic also, that's fine, we enjoy. And my wife, Bindu, my dear wife, she had come for the installation 22nd. I think both the charming ladies in the regional council interact with her. And so a very good wife, I would say, and then 80% of the times it is great, 20% of the times it's barabar, and all of us are married, isn't it? Many of us are married. Okay, fine. So that is how it is. And now the fifth one is my daughter, Leah, who is doing CA and BCom in Bangalore. She's a great friend. Yesterday night, I think we spoke for 20 minutes past 10:30. She was studying, and then knowing that I'm alone in Chennai, she called and spoke for 6. So men are really empowered. Fortunately, have charming, helpful, supportive women by their side all their life till they breathe their last. So I'm extremely happy to be part of this event, and the insights gained here, you should not just sleep over it. Insights gained here, the inspiration that you are able to imbibe here from the learned speakers, Honorable Justice Ma'am, and of course, Pen Nalam is for women welfare. It's very important that the women are in good shape, they are in good order, they are in good mood, because as rightly said, in a family also, in my family I always tell my wife that you are the nucleus of the family. You are the fulcrum of the family. So the fulcrum slips, then everything is a problem. Son has a problem, daughter has a problem, husband has a problem, and so on the story goes. So I'm extremely happy that this SARC could host this program jointly with Kanchipuram branch. And we talk about, when we talk about women empowerment, we talk about Indira Gandhi to Indira Nui or Arundhati Bhattacharya, people in the corporate space. But let us also not forget that the party sitting at home making the petals of Italy is also part of the scheme of things. That is what we should really appreciate. To the women who are not, thank you. This talk goes to not for me, to the loving parties. So I did my articles in Chennai, so forgive me if I'm speaking some bad Tamil. So I was here in Chennai from 88 to 91. So when I stand here, memories fly back to those days when I used to travel on my Bajaj Chetak old scooter in Chennai. So here again, all those women who are not working, we used to be housewives, now we call them homemakers. Much more dignity in using that term than saying housewife and homemakers. They really make homes. So we have, the men, as we represent, have great faith in the innate potential of every one of you, the kind of charm you carry with you, and the important role. I would call, in fact, when I was a Rotary president, in Rotary we call them ants. Rotary, some of you are Rotarians' wives, so we call them Rotary ants, because Paul Harris' wife's name was Anne. So the ladies, wives of Rotarians, are called Rotary ants. So I started an ants column and an Annettes column in the newsletter for the first time. So in the Annettes column, the ants column, the first article was written by a very dear friend of mine, Madam Urmila, who is the vice principal of a very leading school in Kerala. And therefore, the first article was, it was captioned as all in one. And she was highlighting the multiple roles that you play, which no man can imagine doing. One more clap for yourself. And today I am also fortunate to be serving on the advisory board of one of the most sought after colleges in Kerala, in Cochin. If you have come to St. Teresa's College, which is more than 90 years old. A place where when I was much younger, when I was traveling by bus, used to look into like this, and now I'm on the advisory board seeing all the girls there. And so we have a lot of interaction, and you take time to understand. That's quite understandable. Right. Men are like this only.
Men are always men.
Yeah, men are always men. And how about you, men? So nice. I wish you all a great time. Take home some pleasant memories, some inspirational intakes, and with that you would deliver better. And all of us have a very onerous responsibility, a human duty to make this world a better place to live with dignity and hope. May God bless you in all your endeavors, chartered accountants, our guests, all of them. And let us continue to interact. I am frequenting Chennai. Anything you require in SIRC or related things, please keep in touch with me. All our contact details on the SIRC website. Have a great time, and I'm extremely happy that I've been invited to deliver, not the inaugural address. The inaugural address has to be delivered by the Honorable Justice Ma'am, and this can probably, if I'm presiding over as chairman, this could be the presidential address. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you, sir. What a fantastic start. Women, the nucleus of every family. Thank you, sir. I request Revati ma'am and Geeta ma'am to honor our George sir. The shawl and
It's a chief guest, no honor for me. It's home for us.
to honor our chief guest, Mrs. Chitra Venkatraman.
The mix of all of us. And empowerment.
So the shawl is Kanchi Pattu from Kanchipuram branch. Geeta Adim will be honoring our guest of honor, Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan. Geeta Kumar ma'am will honor our chairman.
Thank you so much. That's a different color. Even more help.
Mr. Jamal will honor our Kanchipuram branch chairman.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our Regional Council member, C.A. Geeta ma'am, to introduce our guest of honor, Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan, Managing Trustee of Pennalam.
Happy morning.
Happy morning. Dignitaries, Saundarayas, Saptrayas, and my dear beautiful ladies. Wish you happy Women's Day to all of you present here. I take this pleasure in wishing everyone a very, very, very happy Women's Day. A woman plays a different roles as a mother, wife, sister, mentor, leader, whatnot. So, as rightly they coined the program of today's Women's Day, that is Sattva, which indicates the different modes of existence. Thus, you can see with the flower, which is the main petal, and supporting with the other petals. There's a main one lady with the multiple wings. This is Sattva, as I understood the theme of the conference. It's with this I have given a great privilege of introducing today's chief guest and guest of honor. Today we have a very renowned personalities. As a chief guest and guest of honor. Let me take this privilege first to introduce our guest of honor, Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan. Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan, postgraduate in marketing, specialization in industrial marketing. Born in a family of industrialists and married to an industrialist family. And she is a full-time philanthropist who has dedicated her life for a larger cause. She was diagnosed of cancer in the year of 2008 and 9, and now she's a conqueror. She started Pennalam. She started Pennalam, a unit of Sri Dhanvantari Trust with the support and guidance of her doctor, Dr. Selvi Radhakrishna, and has made significant progress in increasing awareness and treatment of cancer. Pennalam is a non-profit organization with a goal to increase and spread awareness about breast and cervical cancers, which are the two common cancers affecting women in India. The prime objective is to work for prevention and early detection of cancer in women and offer affordable treatment. Pennalam offers low-cost screening programs to benefit women from the lower strata of society and through awareness programs. Pennalam has made substantive progress in reaching out to many women and have made them aware of breast, cervical and oral cancers. So in order to alleviate the suffering of those diagnosed with cancer, Pennalam offers cost-effective treatments. Under the effective supervision of Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan, Managing Trustee, along with Dr. Selvi Radhakrishna, Trustee, Sri Dhanvantari Trust, is in the process of setting up state-of-art hospital, Chennai Breast Cancer Research Foundation in Anna Nagar, with the concept of all under one roof. It is women-centric hospital, specialty center for detection, diagnosis, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, surgery and reconstruction. So with this brief introduction, I once again wholeheartedly welcome Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan. I recognize the presence of our immediate past and council member, Sri Shripriya Kumar. Welcome Shripriya ma'am for this women's conference. It's my proud privilege and honor to introduce our today's chief guest, retired judge of Madras High Court, Srimati Chitra Venkatraman. This is Chitra Venkatraman, was born on 22nd April 1952 to late Justice B. Balasubramanian and B. Tangammal at Madurai. She did her schooling at RKM, Sri Sarada Vidyalaya Girls High School, Chennai. Further on graduated in BA Economics from Etiraj College for Women. She went on to complete her Bachelor of Law degree from Madras Law College, Chennai. She enrolled as an advocate in 1975 under Justice V. Ratnan, practicing civil law, and later on started independent practice in the field of direct and indirect taxation. Great. She served as the additional government pleader taxes between 1995 at Madras High Court and later was appointed as a senior standing counsel for Income Tax Department between 1997 and 2002. She was appointed as an additional judge of the Madras High Court on 10 December 2005 and subsequently became a permanent judge of Madras High Court in 2007. She retired as a judge of Madras High Court in 2014 and after post-retirement she is involved in legal consultancy and arbitration work. With this brief introduction, we once again wholeheartedly welcome you ma'am to this Women's Day program. Over to MC.
Thank you, ma'am. I request our guest of honor, Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan, to address the gathering, please.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah, definitely. ICA, ICA Bharat. Yes, yes. It is actually used to National Center and Income Tax Office. It is a building in between these two. Yeah, it's on the main road only. It is just on the main road opposite to the yeah, sure. You're most welcome. No, just give me a call when you come. We'll come also. Sure. No, it will not be. Sure.
எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். Mr. George, Mr. Geeta, Ms. Geeta, and all the dignitaries on the stage, and all my young friends and sisters who are all seated here, women who are, we play multiple roles, multiple tasks. So when Revati called, I thought health, which is what I'm associated with, health should be the topic. Because நம்மளே பார்த்துனாதான் நம்ம குடும்பத்தை பார்த்துக்க முடியும். Which in India, we always take the back seat. Yeah? You agree with me? Yeah. So, I chose the topic, I have invested in health insurance. This is for all my young friends who are here, for their health in all respects. For the older ones, to their continued health and joy. If it speaks to you, please share it with all of you. So every financial advisor worth his salt, every column on financial planning talks about health insurance. But we need to ensure that we take care of ourselves. So how do we take care of ourselves? I started thinking about this, that there wasn't there a couple of decades ago, costs of medical treatment has gone up, and so have the average household incomes. Are people falling ill more lifestyle diseases, fear? I see a number of younger friends in their 30s and 40s battling health issues, in many cases seriously affecting their day-to-day life, that they have to take a break from their career. So I said, I invest in health insurance by investing in health, my family's health. And what are the premiums I pay? The first one is to eat right, eat healthy, eat nutritious. So start buying healthy foods, even if it inflates the monthly food bills. Fruits are always around. Vegetables, both cooked and raw, healthy oils, right quantity, replace favorite but unhealthy foods with healthy alternatives. Of course, my daughter-in-law kept saying that, Srimittai pakatliye vandachu appadintu. So, well, I think you can indulge in Srimittai once in a while. Cook and eat, the second point. Cook and eat in a positive environment. I strongly believe that cooking in anger, sadness, resentment, or other negative emotions, it reflects in the food that we eat. It carries the positive or negative emotions, energy of the cook, to the person consuming it, creating health or disease, as the case may be. And the third one, very important, exercise. Please find something you enjoy doing. It could be anything. Dancing. It could be Tai Chi, yoga. Ipa nariya yoga patti nariyave varudhu. Walking. Running again, marathon. Gym or dancing. But find it. And stick to it, to a reasonable routine. What works for me is to count how many times I manage to do it within a week. Keep a minimum acceptable performance. Don't say, time illa. Time kandupidinga. Positive mental state, positive beliefs, positive outlook in life. This is deeper and difficult to change. Stress results when any of the above is not in sync. It turns negative. And that is the destroyer of good health for many of us. And to examine the painful underlying mental states and to correct them, or invest in changing habits and behaviors for lasting health. I think that's what you should look into yourself, look within yourself. And the fifth point, forget the what ifs, the why me, the how dare. easy to say, difficult to do, but I find that the more I relax and accept that people are what they are, mistakes happen. I have made it. Someone else may have. But clinging to the past, it hurts me. Clinging to anger, it hurts me. And the most important thing is don't be judgmental. Don't believe everything that you're told. We have this habit of looking into the internet. Mata, Pita, Google, Devam. That's not true. Internet is not 100% correct. Avoid negative people. I mean, avoid them. Stay far from them. The ones who look at the dark clouds on the horizon and not the bright sun and the wonderful rainbow. The 8th point, reach out to friends and family. Only the positive ones, please, when you are out and down. We all, we are sometimes low, sometimes high. They may not tell you sympathetic lies. They may even point out some painful truths, but seek them out and hold on to them. And finally, search for excuses to be happy, whether it is the first flower in your garden, or the little kid who smiled at you in the train, the funny Vadivel comedy on TV, a friend's stupid joke, or your own clumsy slips. I appreciate a message from the colleague. It is not as if I pay my premiums on time and regularly. One of the other 9 premiums get missed out or not paid in full. But a conscious, mindful attitude towards this form of health insurance is the key. Friends, I wanted to share this with you because I have been a very healthy woman. And when I had cancer in 2009, I thought, that the whole world was coming down. It's a very fearful experience. And I found, while I was in the treatment, that there was so much of ignorance, so much of fear. That is the cost, that is the expense. And I felt that this is the call to dissipate, because I'm not a doctor, but I know what I went through. So we started this small NGO called Pennalam to disseminate information, and I'm very proud to tell you that we have sensitized more than 2 lakh women about breast and cervical cancer. So seeing this, I mean, the being in marketing helps. Cancer na bayam. So I decided that we should go to the people instead of waiting for people to come to us. And that's how we came up with the mobile screening bus. We have a mobile screening bus which was donated by ONGC and Ashok Leyland and the Australian High Commission, which has all the fittings inside. And we give a pap smear for 500 rupees, a mammogram for 500 rupees. It's unheard of. The idea here is Tori tested Arogyate Kondadu. அதுதான் எங்களோட ஸ்லோகன். எங்களோட பஸ்ஸே ரொம்ப கலர்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். Birds, trees, because that's life. So we enjoy life. I mean, the woman is the backbone, as Geeta was saying. So I'm very grateful for the CA Institute to offer me this platform to share my message. Please take this to all your family and your friends. Just take care of yourself. நீங்க நல்லா இருந்தாதான் உங்க குடும்பம் நல்லா இருக்கும். I have a small 3-minute video which will, show what are all the basic symptoms. I mean, it's just a message. Thank you very much and wish you all a happy Women's Day.
Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, very inspiring, and thank you for creating the awareness, ma'am.
She strives for her family. She takes care of them. She makes their life wholesome and beautiful. Does she not have the right to a healthy life? 22 to 28 of 1 lakh women are affected by breast cancer. 1,30,000 cases of cervical cancer are reported in India every year. Many people think cancer is contagious. Some think that there is no cure for cancer. Even others hesitate to undergo treatment due to the fear of pain, expense, and the stigma attached. These are the myths that we need to break. Cervical cancer can be prevented, and if detected early, breast cancer can be cured. Yes, there is now a preventive vaccine for cervical cancer, and methods of treatment of breast cancer have improved tremendously. Pennalam is an organization that offers subsidized and cost-effective screening for breast and cervical cancer. Their core objective is to save women on time from cancer. The specialty of Pennalam is its all-women team that ensure comfortable and understanding care for each and every woman. Pennalam also provides post-operative care and counseling. Indication of breast cancer may include lumps that feel different from the breast tissue, skin dimpling, nipple inversion, swellings in your armpits, or abnormal change in breast size. Don't wait for these indications. Go for your routine checkups, because the mammogram can identify even the smallest of lesions, and breast cancer can therefore be cured at stage 0 itself. Indication of cervical cancer may include excessive bleeding during cycles, bleeding with abnormal discharge, or bleeding after menopause. If you have a girl child between 9 and 19 years of age, don't hesitate to vaccinate them. And any woman above that age must undergo periodic pap smear tests. And Pennalam can help you do this. Be a good father, a good son, a good brother, a good husband. Make her take care of herself. She strives for the family. She takes care of you. She makes your life wholesome and beautiful. She does have the right to a healthy life too.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable advice on health. We also recognize the presence of Mrs. Prabha Srinivasan and Ms. Sonal Jain, our speakers for the next session. Now, may I request our chief guest, Mrs. Chitra Venkatraman, to address the gathering, please.
Friends on the dais, enlightened crowd today, good morning to you all. And best wishes on this International Women's Day. A lot of color we are celebrating, particularly blue, very light and pleasant to the eyes. Thanks to your chairman for providing this color code for the day. After providing such an enlightening talk, giving a lot of food for thought, I do not know where to begin and where do I stand. As your chairman said, today marks a day for recognizing the great achievements of women, particularly in such adversarial conditions where they champion the cause of womanhood. Much have been talked about all over the world all these years. Yet this day marks a special day when we all think at least 24 hours, 24 by 7 I should say, for the whole week we think about women. It's an excellent thing. But my only request is, let the men folk continue it
for 365, 24/7. That would be a nice thing, you know. It gives me great pleasure to be here on this excellent morning. First, I had my hesitation to participate. Normally, I don't accept many of these public functions. But one of my friends who is in the profession, he said, I know your views on empowerment, women and other things, yet we would like you to come. Why don't you come? I said, I do not know how people will digest my views on so many things about reservation and other things. Anyway, let me go and see. And he said, there will be a lot of young crowd there. I said, that's an excellent one. Like as Mr. George said, colorful company is always an attraction. And I accepted this program for more than one reason, I should say. Because this building vibrates with knowledge, so much of intellectual activity. I had had an opportunity of coming here more than once. So when you return home, you always feel some kind of an energy pumped into you. So much of talk on so many branches of law. So that is one attraction for me. It's a homecoming, I should say. The second one is next to the income tax department. A place frequented by most of us as practitioners. One of my older members of the family, Mr. V. Jagadisan, chartered accountant, was a member here, well known for his knowledge on taxation. So there is one reason. The another reason is, if the income tax department holds the pulse of the nation, you professionals, adept in number crunching craft, help me to weave the seams of my purse. So I plan my things after taking advice from you, my financials. Everything is done only by you. I trust you. You are my God, my philosopher. So if I have a problem, I know I'm taken care of well. And the only person who struggles with that is the department. That gives me an added pleasure. And it gives us a lot of work also, you know. It keeps us going in our profession in a way. So that is another thing which compelled me to come here. So that's my interest in this institution. When we talk about the achievements of women, and if I take your profession, most of you must have heard about R. Sivabhagyam, the first chartered accountant who enrolled in the year 1937. She practiced only after a legal battle. There also the court came to the rescue. Ultimately, the court is the one which gives us the succor, I should say. Whatever one may have a criticism about judges, courts, delays and whatnot, ultimately the court is the ultimate protector of the rights. That's how it is. That is so even in the case of an advocate who in the late 1850s wanted to practice, the first woman to practice. Now we have come a long way from those days. I was happy to know that we have chairman of the regional chapters, and the Sivabhagyam was a chairman for 3 consecutive years of Southern India Regional Council, the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I don't know whether anybody had held that post after that for 3 consecutive years. It's time that you take note of it, sir. In our own rights we want to come, not by way of reservations, certainly.
You're not standing in the way at all.
No. Who are you to stand in the way? We'll push you the corner. Okay. And everybody acknowledged her knowledge on auditing of government departments in particular. It's a very difficult task. And above all, the RBI. She was an expert in dealing with trusts and so many of the NGOs and other things. That is the name she called herself for. She was an active socialist in the sense she participated in the national freedom movement, went to the jail. She did not get married for 3 reasons. One is she went to jail, active in politics. Second is, she has studied something, therefore, therefore, the other one is slightly handicapped, I'm told. But then when she decided that she should take a deep plunge into these financials to become somebody to be spoken to, she made a mark. It's a matter of pride that we should praise the womanhood. She gave the vision to so many to take up to this profession. Consciously and unconsciously, I should say, she has led you all to take up to this noble profession. And we bow in respect to that great woman who had done so much for this profession, I should say. Now, with all the number of percentage of students coming to this chartered accountancy or any other profession, I'm told it is nearly 28% today.
Students are more than that. Membership is about 24. Students are close to 36.
36. And all the 36 should come to the profession, I suppose. Yes, definitely. And with this curriculum as one and the same, the pass mark, everything one and the same, the standards of professional excellence one and the same. Why then are we called a woman advocate, a woman chartered accountant? Why? Call yourself as man chartered accountant somebody? Do you ever do that? I don't think so. You had never done that. I tell you my experience. I have told to so many. There was a 25th year celebration in the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. One of the then Vice President, who became a judge later, he spoke to me at 9:30 and 9:45. He said, Chitra, I want you to come and address the gathering on the 25th year of the ITAT as a member of women advocates. Back came the reply, sorry sir, I won't come. Why? There is no such thing as a woman advocate or a man advocate. It's gender free, sorry. When you are making these discriminatory remarks, I cannot come. No, you should come as I said, sorry, you may be the vice president. I don't go here for that. Okay, will you come as a junior advocate representative? That's good. That's an attitudinal change that with which you are inviting, I will come. So when I went there, he started introduction only with that. And the entire office was there just waiting to see, because I want lone voice from this FASEX to address the gathering of such big thing, Then when he introduced, he said, this is what she said, so I welcome her as a member of the junior member of the bar and other things. Then when I said, why so many are not coming for this post, I cited one example. One district judge who later opted for this ITAT membership, judicial member, he was a district judge originally. So district judge is king of the district. 10 persons will attenders will be there, everybody will be saluting, the entire police force will be saluting, stop the car and whatnot, We should see that. And when he opted for this, there is no such thing as 10 peons sitting at home, queuing up, every morning saluting, the police will not be there, nothing is there. So the lady had a great, she was upset totally. I said, what is all this? You said ITAT is a big thing, not a single soul you salute at home. Maybe not to you, but not. Even to me, nobody salutes. As a wife of a district judge, the first person to be saluted is the wife. Then only the district judge. Why? Nobody is here, no peons, nothing. I said, that is a woman's point of view. There's nobody is there. But then you don't look at the intellectual aspect of the post. I said, probably she doesn't have an exposure to the authority that you are wielding. Because income tax is such a potent weapon at the hands of anybody and everybody. You can make or you can finish off somebody with that. And the ITAT is such the topmost, we'll call it a Supreme Court on facts. So with that kind of an institution, the lady had her own burnings, heartburns. Probably that is one of the reasons why many are not coming. Why don't you make this post more attractive so that many women will come and occupy and throw you all out? Some people got so annoyed. They said, "What is it you are saying?" I said, "That is a woman's point of view." Then the person whose wife had said, that gentleman was there. Suddenly he popped up and said, "What is it, Chitra? You are referring to me?" He called me. I said, "Oh, that is what I would call the sense of, sorry to use that word, insensible reaction in a place to say, am I the one who said, are you referring to me? If I were in his position, I would never say that. But as a man, he reacted. I don't know whether his wife would have reacted. That is one incident in my life which I could never forget. He used to refer, wherever he goes, he will refer that. Then I said, it's not a matter of pride to say a woman is an advocate or something is that. It is out of recognition for my professional ability. I am standing here or anywhere else. I don't get favorite orders because I am a woman. It is because of my arguments, the strength of what I project, I get an order. Please don't ever refer to a woman, a lawyer, as a woman lawyer or whatever it is. It is gender neutral. Therefore, the first thing you need to have in your mind is clear that impression that you are a woman professional. That's very important for a success. That is the first lesson of empowerment, I should call it. One lady advocate told me when I got enrolled, she said, look Chitra, you have come out of choice. Yes, yes. You have come from a family which is very protective. I said, yes. You have studied all through in girls' college? Yes. The first college I went in is a law college. And don't ask me about, you must have read about the law colleges, the co-eds, where the sight of a woman, very repulsive for these men. So they'll make all kinds of catcalls and everything, throw arrows and everything. If you start throwing arrows, you are finished. But then that is not the way to retaliate, You will have to show the strength of your character. That is how it has to be. So she said, from the protective environment you have come, please note one thing. You will have to first shed that shyness about you. Forget that you are a woman. The way you dress up must not show that your interest is more on dress than on your professional capabilities or improvement of your thing. So if a man comes and sits next to you, accidentally his hands touches your hand or something while giving a paper, don't throw tantrums there. Just ignore. By the look of your face, he will not make any advances on you. Next time, we'll be very careful about giving the paper. That's an excellent advice I had. And that day onwards, I decided the way I should dress, like a clergy. So that is how you have to be. Now, after a month, I'm just in the initial period of my profession I'm giving you. After a month, one elderly advocate, who happened to be a friend of my senior in the chamber, he came. Oh, you are the new lady junior, ah? I gave a very cold look. I was more than a pachamulagai those days. I have mellowed down a lot. Then my senior said, don't ask anything to her, be careful. Don't ever say anything. நான் கேட்பேன், என்ன நீங்களா என்ன கேட்க போறீங்க லேடிஸ் எல்லாம் சும்மா நல்லா புடவை கட்டிட்டு இப்படி உலாத்திட்டு போயிட்டு ஒரு வருஷம் 2 ஆனோன்னா இந்த மேரேஜ் மார்க்கெட்டில் அவங்க டிகிரி காமிச்சிட்டு வில் கெட் மேரிட், then conceive, get children and all, and you will retire. What else you are going to do? I can just hear the grinding of my teeth, But immediately I reacted, oh, you are of immaculate conception, is it? I asked. Immaculate conception, மேலேயும் குதிச்சிட்டீங்களா நீங்க? இப்போ கல்யாணம் ஆகி குழந்தை பற்றி சும்மா இருக்கிறதுக்கு. What nonsense you are talking. Then my senior said, you better come away from this place, don't talk to this man. That day I decided, in a matter of 2 years, the man who said, நீங்களாம் பொம்பளைங்களாம் வீட்டில் உட்காருவீங்க, கல்யாணம் ஆகிட்டு போயிடுவீங்க, ப்ராக்டிஸ்னு வந்துட்டு குழந்தைய பற்றிட்டு உட்காருதான் நீங்களாம் லாய்க்கு. You are tailored for that. சொன்னாலும் must come to me to give a brief where I will expose his ignorance of law. So that was a determination, it's a fire which is burning in me. I returned home. I feel rather depressed about the way these men are talking about women and all. that I am not earning sufficiently even after 2 years of my graduation, whereas my friends have started earning and all. See, profession is a very testing one, you know. You need to have a lot of patience. It's very difficult to hold the profession at the initial stage. As the years go by, the profession holds on to you, that you cannot wriggle out of it. That is the passion that you develop. That is how it should be. So I said, look, this fellow said something, I am not earning anything, I am a useless woman, it looks as though I am a waste. My sister went and told my father, the stupid daughter is talking nonsense, just talk to her. My father said only one thing. If you think the profession is for earning money, you stop going to court. If the profession is there, your entry is just 2 years old, is there for learning something to prove your worth in law, you better go, otherwise you stop going. That was the first and the last time I thought about money as being earned a profession to keep me going in the profession. I said, here afterwards I will not think about money, just about my profession, just hold it on. Now, as I wished, after 2 years, the same person came to me with a tax matter. That is one batch of agricultural income tax and another is on entertainment tax. In those days, the weekly assessments. So every week has to have a revision if you are agreed by that. What this man did, for 58 weeks, he filed only one revision petition before the commissioner, telling the client, you have an excellent case, one revision is sufficient. He underestimated the brilliance of those IAS officers, then IAS officers, you know. In one single line, he dismissed all the petitions. And with a huge, in those days, a few lakhs is a great amount, you know, 35, 45 years back. And clients started fighting and this man came running. Chitra paru, edo one aayiduthu, na muttal edo or order pottaran. Edar yaar muttal yaar pottan? Sapar, 58 varadhukku I filed one revision, why not the same facts? Why should I not file? Why how can do? I said, are you aware of the provisions of law? Enna law enna solla porudhu? Sir, you are practicing law. Don't say law, take the act and read it first. And incidentally, I want to remind you, why do you consult me? I am a woman. I am fit for begetting children. Why do you? I don't say that, please, you must do. Somehow you must help his right client, you know, you must do something. And then I said, you can sustain only 1 week. The rest of the 57 weeks, you are doomed, that's all. Your client can take you before the bar council. No, don't say all these things. I must sustain in my profession. I said, one thing I can say, I will present the papers again before the commissioner because it's in limitation, 4 years. Another thing is the auditing has not been done by your office. That means your officers have accepted my one petition for 54 weeks. If you have rejected that, you should have given me an opportunity to represent that papers. Why you have not done it? I'll go and fight for it, don't worry. I went and fought with the commissioner. He agreed with me. He permitted me to file 57 revision petition and got an order relief to this man. And I didn't go before him again to rebuke him and all. This is beneath our dignity to do such thing, another professional. That's what I felt personally. I think by the time I had matured little, you know, not to rebuke. That's how things happened. And then onwards, there is no looking back. 24/7, my court work. That is all I knew nothing about. Whatever is happening around me is not a matter of concern. Somehow I have come up like this, and now I am before you. And with all the thing that you have done, I always felt I am still a child groping in darkness when it comes to a question of resolving anything, any issue, any opinion, because this act is a very complicated, Income Tax Act is the most complicated one. And if you ask me for the definition of income, I do not know, I'll have to open, because how many interpretations have come on income? How many amendments have come? Before I open, one amendment may will come, evening one notification will come. Therefore, I made it a practice that every time I take any matter, the act should be there with me. Not that single section being given in a photocopy. That is the... the reason why I am saying all this is not because I have done something or achieved something, nothing. My inspirations were those who had laid a good path for me to travel on, I should say. Very few ladies were there when I got enrolled, 4 or 5 alone in the High Court. The way they conducted, the way they presented themselves among the crowd. So that mattered a lot to me. I think we need to have some kind of an informal networking here which will help all the youngsters and those who are not gainfully placed in the profession, in the sense who had their own misgivings about their capabilities. That experienced persons like you should share your thoughts with them, encourage them, give them the stimulus or whatever it is to make them come up in their life. That is what empowerment means. When people told me about, as I said, somebody calling me as something inferior or what is it you want, I was just thinking about questioning myself. Is there any difference between a man and a woman in the matter of thinking capacity? Is there anything wrong with us that we should be called as weakerling or whatever it is? I had a chance to read an article in Women's History Month, March 23rd, 2016. There's an interesting article. It starts by saying leadership is not a new skill set for women. Throughout the history, we have stubborn women who said half of the population in the world are only seen and not heard. So those women who had achieved something, they said, all women have natural qualities like gorilla fighters. They are ruthless as a mother cat fighting. But why then we have some kind of a deficiency being spoken of, that we are not capable of going for certain occasions, or we are tailor-made only for certain things, jobs. Now, there is another important book on that. It's a Female Brain, written by one Dr. Lune Brizendine, which discusses in a scientific way about the brain difference between a man and a woman. 99% is one and the same, but there is just only 1% difference which make women better leaders in the society. That's what it said. They said scientists have proved that women are born leaders. The lower level of testosterone helps female brain circuits in communication, collaboration, and gut feelings and emotional memory. You have better ability for showing emotional intelligence, collaboration, communication, which are recognized as important critical traits to become a leader. So with all this, why do we all the time lament that we are not treated properly? Are we giving the ideas to men folk that we are inferior? Partly we are so. That's what I feel. Certain times of expression of helplessness, refusal to take responsibilities on our part, are also taken advantage of by men. So what is that advice I can give you? Give up all these inhibitions to become leaders. Self-empowerment is very important. Self-analysis is very important. You don't wait for somebody to tell you that you are strong enough to face a situation, or you are the masters of your destiny. You have to decide what is good for you and what is bad for you. You have to educate yourself, through which educate everybody else, that there is an empowerment, a power that is there within every one of us, which can be kindled by intellectual stimulation. By intellectual stimulation, I say, in educating a person, which is not just same as adding degrees to your names. An education which makes you the fullness of a human being on this earth. That is what is important. You know, our constitution speaks about equality. There cannot be any discrimination based on caste, creed, sex, and whatever it is. We have laws, several laws to protect women. But then every day we see some defect in the execution of these laws. Something is wanting in that. There is always a difference between a gap in an effective legislation and an effective implementation. Now, are we satisfied with just reservations or legislations made to protect women? If I ask you this question, what would be your answer? Would you accept a reservation or an equal treatment? I don't hear anything. You want a reservation. That means you are passing on the responsibility to somebody else to take the decision for you. We want only an equal treatment, a recognition, because that is where the concept of justice lies. Whatever might have been the change in the attitude of persons in the society about so many concepts, if there is one thing which is still evergreen, all expansive, is a concept of justice, respect for human rights, human dignity, which has to be there. Therefore, in an august gathering like this, my appeal is only one thing. As professionals, exercise your knowledge to impart knowledge to those who are less privileged, that there is a realization in every one of us that we are no longer looking up to somebody to guide us by your hand. We are here to guide everybody to make this life a better place for everybody to live on. You should know, if a society is based just on the cold letter of law and fails to take note of the higher human possibilities, we are pushed to a mediocrity, which we don't want to. We want excellence in everybody, so that everybody is benefited out of it. On this happy occasion, I thank everyone for your patient hearing for whatever I have stated, which is of my pure experience. I thought that may have some kind of an opening to many to say that profession is something which cannot be let off to go just for earning money that you are holding on. It's something more than that, beyond that. It's such a sacred thing that I wish you all the very best on this day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your thought-provoking speech. I request Shri Shripriya ma'am to present a memento to our chief guest, Mrs. Chitra Venkatraman. Chairman to present a memento to our guest of honor, Mrs. Radhika Santanakrishnan. Thank you, sir. I request CAG Geeta ma'am to deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on the stage, my dear fellow professionals, good morning to one and all present here. I stand before you to do the pleasant task of rendering vote of thanks. First, let me clarify the theme of the today's celebration. It is Sattva, meaning inner strength, a special virtue every woman is having within you. Clap yourself. Without which we cannot achieve and we could not have come to this level. Inner strength is more for women than men. You can be proud of it. Now let me do my job. On behalf of SIRC and Kanjipuram District Branch, I sincerely thank SIRC Chairman C.A. Jumanjat for gracing the occasion and for rendering nice presidential address today. Our special thanks to Kanjipuram Branch Chairman for being present here and for a short and sweet speech. On behalf of all women members and staff members, I would like to thank C.A. Jaishankar, Kanjipuram Branch Chairman, for his super sponsor of 3 silk sarees kept before you. We have organized a lucky draw and hope all of you have dropped your coupons in the box meant for that outside. If not, please do it in the tea break. So you could be one of the winners for these nice beautiful pattu sarees from Kanjipuram. Thank you, Jaishankar. for your generous sponsorship. It's a pleasant surprise to all the members here. And I thank our immediate past Central Council member Sri Priya Kumar for her graceful presence. Our thanks to RCMCA AP Geeta from Bangalore. Our special thanks to Chief Justice Chitra Venkatraman Madam for her thoughtful, thought-provoking address today. Our special thanks to Guest of Honor Radhika Venkatraman Madam. பெண்ணலம் பற்றி ரொம்ப அழகா பேசினாங்க. We take care of everyone in the home, but we don't take care of ourselves at all. அடுத்தவங்களுக்கு நான் உருகுவோம், நம்மளை பற்றி நம்ம கண்டுக்கிறதே இல்லை. அவங்க ரொம்ப பியூட்டிஃபுல்லாக சொல்லி ஒரு 3 minutes வீடியோவும் இன்னைக்கு நம்மளுக்காக போட்டு காமிச்சாங்க. Ladies, my dear friends, please take care of your health. I want to say this at this moment. And our thanks to MC team. And our thanks to SARC and Kanjipuram Joint Committee members who have worked hard to make this a grand success. Thanks to the caterers. She is also a woman entrepreneur, an engineer turned to be a caterer and event management person who is ready with her delicious items today for us. And thanks to the staff members of SARC and Kanjipuram branch. And last but not the least, thank you all for your excellent presentation here. Beautiful, all young charming ladies coming here in spite of your busy schedule. Without your participation, this would not have been a grand success. Please stay with us. We have technical programs followed by yoga session and lucky draw and delicious lunch is waiting for you. Thank you, friends.
Session concludes. We'll take a tea break now.
Okay, breaks for tea.
It's time for tea break.
Tea break. Thank you, friends. We can now break for tea and catch up in 15 minutes for the next speaker session.
I'm wanting to commence all over again because I'd actually taken a good 5-month break and I said I need to detox first. So ever since I decided not to contest, and from now on I'm packed every Saturday and I'm going to be speaking somewhere. So it's great to see you guys again, and it's nice that we managed to do this catch-up at least once a year. So we have this little panel discussion today here on breaking the glass barrier. I did listen to Mrs. Justice Chitra's speech with a lot of interest, but I sort of tend to reckon in my mind that the circumstances have somewhat changed from since she went to college. I'd like to sort of start this whole session with a question to the audience. How many of you in this place feel you have been discriminated against? And I think we need to be very bold about it. Do you feel right through school, college, your CA, whether personally at home or outside, have we been discriminated against? Initially? How many of you feel you're still being discriminated against today? Okay, so I think a lot of circumstances have changed, and I think then it's very relevant because I also need to sort of cater to a majority here on whether we need to elevate this discourse on breaking glass barriers to the next level, to a level beyond attempting to only discover ourselves at the end of this session, rather than look at glass barriers that get created by people around you. So I think I would like to, sort of move this whole debate and talk today to that level where if at the end of it all, I can help yourselves, I can help you discover that little spark in you that will inspire you to want to do more. So I'd like to welcome my co-panelists here today, and we'll also make this slightly more open house than, because there are only 2 panelists here and a lot more in the audience, so we can make this a little interactive.
I actually want to say I still feel discriminated and I want to share why.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So if I may ask Sonal, how do you actually define a glass ceiling?
A glass ceiling, how many people in the room are familiar with the term glass ceiling? Okay.
And to my understanding, yesterday it so happened, my sister, who's also a chartered accountant, she is in a hospital and there were 12 chartered accountants there. And I told them I'm going to be here since this is your domain. And of the 12 people in the room, nobody knew what a glass ceiling was. I was not surprised that they didn't know, but I was just more surprised that, that none of them have ever felt it also till we had this discussion at length. Glass ceiling is basically this barrier. It's an invisible barrier which stops us from doing things as other normal people would do, especially men at home or especially at work when we say glass ceiling. So there's a lot of times that women, after a certain point, it gets very difficult for them to reach the top management. Like if you look at law firms, etc. How many women there are partners? If you look at consulting firms, your top, whichever, the top 4 or others also, how many women actually move from the senior advisor to senior consultant to the partner role? And why is that their gap? Or if you take a 24 or a 26-year-old woman, as soon as she gets married, or when she applies to a job at 24, when she's looking for a job switch, a lot of times they're not given equal pay simply because there's something called maternity penalty, the motherhood penalty. Have you heard of this? Yeah. Even if you've not heard of this, there are higher chances we've felt this. And as Hillary Clinton describes it, motherhood penalty is basically because you can possibly become a mother soon, because it is expected of you by the society and the men. You will give in, and at some point you will have a child and you will want to take a year or 2 years off, and we can't lose work and efficiency at work, and which is why. So glass ceilings is at multiple levels. And I had this note which I have to share. When we feel we're not discriminated right now, I represent India in 4 global platforms, minimum, and I still feel compromised because the amount of work that I have to put in is a lot more than what a man would have to put in. I'm not saying it's easy for all women. There are also people of other genders, there's transgenders, there's other kind of LGBTQ communities whose fight is just as much as mine or maybe even more. But it is definitely easier for one portion of this section than us. Really sorry, I just feel this is important. Have you heard of the term internalized patriarchy? Or patriarchy? Okay. So I want to ask you, what is your understanding of patriarchy? And then I will circle back on this.
Can I pass this on to her? Let her start one round and we'll come back to it. Would you have any comments on patriarchy?
Well, no, not really. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I don't.
I'm actually loud enough. But basically, feminism is what I do 24/7. This is my full-time job. And I think it is important to share this. Patriarchy, as we all know, is basically where the man is on the top and the world order system is designed for a man to be on the top, to enable for him to get on the top, and it limits or undermines what other people in that system can do. Internalized patriarchy is when you and I don't know this, but we are being a part of it. Example, வீட்ல அம்மா சொல்றாங்க, the boy can come home at 10, but the girl has to come home at 8. Now, Amma is not a patriarch, but she's an internalized patriarch, and she is adding to this. So, a lot of us here who said that, no, I'm not discriminated, Anand Mahindra recently shared a post which is very brilliant. He said there is a race line, and there are 4 people standing, of which 2 of them are women. And everybody else will go because the race line is clear. For women, there will be the cooker in between, there will be clothes, then you'll have to have a maid, then there are children, and then there is a husband whom you have to feed. So your racing line, automatically you're slowing down, right? How are we not being discriminated against?
Can I comment on that? I think times have changed. I think what we perceive is that there is this glass ceiling and that we are discriminated against in the workplace. But I think what it comes down to is really trying to shine at what you do. As long as you have that single-minded focus to do an exceptional job, anything that you're given, it's only a matter of time that you outshine your male contemporaries. So I tend to think the times have changed, and it's because of all these obstacles that we have that makes us amazing at what we do. We do things at lightning speed that a lot of men struggle to cope with because they don't have these obstacles to deal with, and we manage it with such ease. So I think you've got to take that as a huge advantage because it certainly puts challenges ahead of you, but then if you're able to
to take that on and then still try to do as good a job as your peer at work who's a male, nothing's going to stop you. And I think things are changing all over the world. Everybody is looking for productivity and achievements, and it's not gender biased anymore. I want to make a point here on this glass ceiling and why we think there are fewer women at the top. There has been a study that says, a lot of women spend less time socializing, because think about it, you finish a day's work and at 6 o'clock you're asked to either show up at a really promising networking session where you've got the best in the profession there, where you could be handing out cards telling them what you do, or the choice before you is, do I go home because I've got kids at home and a husband at home and I need to go out there and take care of them. I want to rush. See, this robs us women from a lot of informal networking. When you think about it, some of the greatest ideas and some of the abilities to actually, it's a very latent thing that happens in organizations, but you see men have no such, they're not struggling with these choices. So their natural tendency is, what the heck, I'll just go there, have this drink with my colleagues, meet at a bar, but they talk about a lot of happenings within the organization. You get a sense of things that are not discussed while in the office. You get to discuss it outside there. And that gives you a great deal of perception on what you need to wade through, whether it's very, very discreetly discussed. But I'm not saying this is gossip. It's just insights into the workings of an organization that you would otherwise not have time to look at because you're always focused with your head down, when you're at work. And I ask women to, think about this. It doesn't make you any less of a woman because you're not there that day to dish out a meal. Reach out to the support system which India provides you, which a lot of foreign countries don't. And as someone who lived there, I can relate to it. I think you really need to make that time because it does help. And try and do it consciously. A few times that a husband has to pick up that little bit of slack at home, it's not going to hurt you, and you're going to, come out better at what you want to do on the professional side.
So I have a slightly different take on this patriarchy subject. I think traditionally societies, when they evolved, man was the provider and woman was the nourisher. But then there was a reversal, not really a reversal, but the women also started being providers. But I think it's fundamentally our own wiring that I think I'm extremely proud about. I can only be the mom at home. My husband, however good he is, can't be the mom. And I'm very happy about it. And I think while I've gone through this phase of aggression myself and, to say, okay. And then I realized a glass ceiling is perhaps what I define for myself. A ceiling is also what you define for yourself. A goal is what you define for yourself. If for you it's important, I think you'll anyway end up accomplishing it. If you want to be a fantastic parent, that's a goal. That's your ceiling. So you burst that ceiling. So in that context, again, I'd like to kind of make this very contextually relevant to this audience here today. How many of you have a huge goal? And today I'm going to sort of drive it, not personal, but professional. How many of you in this room are in practice? How many of you in the industry? So that's the context we're talking about, Solan. Here are women who've actually chosen to come into practice. So let me for a moment assume that these are your practice goals. How many of you want to run the largest CA firm in the South? Okay. So, and how many of you want to manage your personal and professional lives and hence, you want to be happy with doing both? So therein lies the answer, and therein I think also lies, for example, Anusha runs perhaps one of the oldest firms in Chennai. She's fine, she has two amazing children and these are the goals that she sets for herself. So I think in some context, in whatever you choose to do, if you're able to excel, I think that's broadly it. So and so closely related to this problem of glass ceiling is the problem of choice. Do you think there is a difference in the way men handle choices and the way women handle choices?
I do. I think going back to this whole emotional intelligence, I think I tend to think that women do have the ability to be highly empathetic. So no matter what decision is put out there, before they think themselves, they're actually thinking about a few other people who are going to be influenced by it. It could be a new job decision that's going to put an abundant pressure on travel. Well, travel on me is all right, but the first instance for me is to think about home, right? And make sure that support system is there. Are the kids going to hang? Is everything going to work out? And before we make that decision, I think we tend to think about the larger picture a little bit more, because that becomes such a succinct part of what we do. We can't function at the level we want unless we have all these pieces working for us, and I think we do that consciously. I think if I were to flip this in the context of where I come from, I think for a man it'll be great comp, great, it's a great elevation on various fronts. Let's take it, and maybe the discussion will come afterwards. Whereas we tend to say, let's talk this out first before I make this decision.
So the point is, the woman's choice is often, sort of guided by conditions and not thoroughly unjustified, because I think we essentially end up trying to create a world for men. Forget a man's world. I mean, your kids survive and grow because of you. And so, Sonal, in that context, do you think women compromise more than they synthesize?
Synthesize being the realization?
No, synthesize being... Okay, I'd like to define compromise here in being able to say this or that, and synthesize being able to say this and that.
I think yes, and it also happens naturally because one, from inside we want to care about everyone. That's just right from an early stage, as I think Justice Geeta was also telling, the female brain. It talks about how if a mother is crying in front of a 1-year-old boy and a girl is more likely to respond, because a female child's brain processes emotions much faster. So even in a team process, which is why you see women are slightly more holistic, trying to be more inclusive, etc. And if that's my natural given tendency, then I'm looking at how this is not just this and that for me, but also this and that for every other person. Hence, we tend to compromise because we want to include everyone. We want to include everyone. Having said that, I'll also say that our choices are always limited. Like when I'm setting a goal also, I can only set a goal based on what I see women around me are doing. So if I don't have good role models, I'm already suffering at setting my goals right.
I had a small, again, an input on this before I go back to her. I think if you have defined what is your ceiling, and let me not call it ceiling, which is your upper echelons of what you want to be, it's very important to learn to synthesize, which also means ability to let go of bad scores, ability to say that I can have a less than perfect house. A lot of us are not able to do it. But for all that, I think it's important. In fact, this is something I've gone through the 6 years of the same program. I'm saying I'm not finding enough women wanting to go out there and conquer. Forget what somebody else wants you to do. Do you want to be there on the top? Once you make your mind up on that, then I think the whole ecosystem is like, will just support and create that buoyancy to move you up. In that sense, I think we must want to move out. We must want to do something. For example, today somebody was asking me, should I be in practice? And I said, you're very bright here. Why don't you just go to employment also if you're willing to look at that change? So today, it's that fundamental call of yours. And I keep coming back to it in every women's session because I don't know why we've passed one of the toughest exams in the world. Why is it that we don't want to break out, and why is it that we don't want to become big or become... But again, and again, it's not too late to start. So I'm not extolling you or sort of pressurizing you to do it. But since we're having this discussion, I think that's very relevant. Sure. And secondly, I think today's world is such a big place. There are people who drop out of colleges who get funded on those special programs to, come up and look at aggregation today. Any free-floating asset you can aggregate and start your own company. Today, I think the choices of what you want to do, sitting at home, there are people who become billionaires. So, and again today, somebody can put pressure on you, but nobody can, sort of restrict your thought on what you want to be. So your views on this?
No, absolutely. I think you've got to dream big. And with the this whole thought on compromise, I think you got to think about the situation and possibly capitalize on it. You know, I think given a majority of you are, you're all in practice and you're all entrepreneurs in your own right. And I think part of that is because we come to that particular stage where we're wondering whether we can give, we need the flexibility to be as good at home as we are at work. And we do choose the path of entrepreneurship because it does. Actually, women are very naturally lent towards becoming entrepreneurs. You can make your entrepreneurial activity as big or as small as you want to actually work with the rest of the dynamics in your life. And it doesn't have to be crystal clear going in. I think it changes and it takes shape as you progress in life. Not to go back to, but when you think about my situation, I had no aspirations to be in the United States. I certified in India, then I had to go there and get certified, and then I did an entrepreneurial degree in management. But today my practice actually combines cross-border tax and accounting between 2 countries, and it's an entrepreneurial venture. So I ask that you capitalize on these opportunities. I was in a stage where I had 2 little kids, and the best thing I felt that worked in my favor was to set up an enterprise that would give me the ability to work as much as I wanted, make it as big as I wanted. And going back to the keynote speaker, she said, there will come a stage where the profession will never let you go. Initially you're trying to do it and then you get so sucked into it. That's exactly what happens when you give it that much commitment. So that's my thought.
So do you think women being slightly more emotional and a function of the lesser testosterone that we have actually causes a bit of slack? And sometimes, and what do you think of the slack at all?
I agree with Prabha when she said that you look at things as what your assets or what your strengths are and then capitalize them. So if emotions are our strength, then we capitalize them. We see how we become better leaders because our processing power is better, rather than looking at it as a hunch that we need to manage. So once we've recognized and identified what works in our favor, how do you put it best to use?
So I'm now going to throw a question open for the audience. How many of you feel, is there any person in this audience who does not feel empowered? Because that's something I've been it's been a very piquant kind of thing. I don't understand what this empowerment is. So I'd like to just understand this better. Anybody in this audience who doesn't feel empowered or has not felt empowered, I'd like to take a view. And maybe that's a good, for example, I'd like Divya's views. Because Divya started by saying she feels she's been discriminated at some point. Yeah.
So when I... No, that's fine. So when I said discriminated, I meant when I worked in a Big Four, I did feel it at the time of promotions because there was a reason that, you might get married, you might quit. But when it came to a guy, it never was the case. And also in practice, I feel it's more male dominated more often than not. It takes time for a client. They first see me as a child. They don't see me as a professional. So I think in that sense, it takes a lot of time to break that barrier. But empowerment wise, I think it's on us. It's completely on a woman to do what she wants to do. There are opportunities that are there which we choose not to take. Because when I did miss the opportunities that I did have, it was more of my confidence. It was nothing on anybody else doing it on me. So I feel we're all empowered in our own sense. It's what comes out of you. Like if you're confident enough, I think you can conquer anything. It's about taking that step forward. So, yeah.
I actually tend to completely agree with her on that part of, the career progression, especially because people tend to assume. So I think, and that's something organizations need to work on, especially if 40% of the incomers are going to be women, then they better change their policies, and they will. It's only a matter of time. The other thing again has been anyone else would like to speak? Oh, for me, until my, when I first started, people used to, wonder whether it's worth joining her office because will she pay the next month? So for me, it was me starting a practice in my house because my son was very young and I was trying to just figure out what to do. But I've been through that. But I'll again throw a question back to you. A very competent man and a very competent woman, who do you think gets recognized quicker? Therein lies your answer. So let me also ask you another question. If 20% of the chartered accountants in Chennai are women today, why don't I say 20% of the CPE attendants being women? Do we take our learning less seriously? Do women take what? So this is a predominantly practice crowd. So do we ourselves take our learning less seriously than the men?
I disagree. I think if we're in a career and a profession that is as demanding as it is, I really think that it's uncompromisable, because every day is a learning, no question. Again, going back to the speaker, doesn't matter how well you know your act in and out. I think whenever a question pops up, you want to go back and make sure that you got all you got all those latest regulatory changes figured out. So I think not. I think it's a factor of being a complete professional, no matter what gender you come from.
So maybe in reference to this context, do we little bit put our families ahead of our learning? Is something you might want to think about.
When we spoke about the CPE credit, there is one thing which we need to make a note of. If you look at the CA classes, you can see predominantly it's girls who are being regular to the classes. Apart from them registering, they are the ones who are regular to the classes more than the boys. But when it comes to CPE, it's more about the men than the women. Why? The reason are two. Okay, one reason is that most of the CPEs are happening in the evening hours when women stop themselves from coming. Yes, even now, say for example, I'm just going a bit out of this. There is some community called as BNI, which I think most of us are aware of. BNI is, in every chapter there is a chart accountant, but I can, tell you that it cannot be more than 1 to 2% women. The reason being, the meetings are happening in the early morning. Yes, so again, why is this happening? The reasons are two. One is that the timings, we think it's not convenient for women, but the other side of it is that we are taking a conscious decision not to have our professional responsibilities at that point of time. So there are two things which we have to be aware of. One is being judged by others and being judged by ourselves. Most of the time the issue arises because we are trying to constantly judge ourselves. Am I at par with someone else? If you have decided to step into office from morning to evening, I think we should not be looking at other moms who spend time with their kids at home. So if you have decided to be at home with your kid, you should not be wondering on how others are shining in their profession. So as you were rightly saying, we need to set our goals, and that goal need not be professional goals. We need to start coming out of the mindset that it's only that when someone is achieving in their profession, they actually achieve something in their life. It's not really so, because gone are the days when there was a push for women. Actually, there were days where my mom used to feel bad that she was only a homemaker and she was not working. And trust me, many of the days I feel bad for being a working woman and not, being with my kid 24/7.
Kids are happy.
That's like, yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But on the other side, it's like we always feel that the grass is greener on the other side. I think we should come out of that mindset. We should, as the chief guest was rightly saying, who are you to stop me? Just, we will push you and we will go wherever we want to reach. But where we want to reach is something that we need to decide. We should not be deciding that because some X, Y, Z is thinking this is what I should do. First, we should come out of the mindset that, I am being judged by others, which is like we are actually trying to judge ourselves.
Sure.
We can switch over from home to office to practice, whichever immediately. So I think our concentration level is much higher than that.
And isn't this what being happy is all about? I mean, if you're doing everything, so why are we even you know.
We should be proud of it.
Absolutely. So, any other person wants to express a thought? I mean, and in fact, just to my co-panelists. So I'm going to slightly move away from this topic because I'm going to stop defining a barrier or a ceiling. Let's get away from it. Let's just put one word called excellence. So you want to do whatever you do, you're going to do very well. I think for women, more than aspects of success, failure, disappointment, or fear, I think guilt is a much larger emotion that sort of rules our lives. What do you think about it?
Well, again, I think we are too considerate, and it goes back to being, putting ourselves in other people's places and understanding and trying to figure out, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the right thing by them? And yeah, I tend to think that contributes heavily towards, a lot of the decisions we make. And so, yeah, I would say we tend to be, more guilt conscious than the men do.
And in some sense, I'm trying to bring these terms because I think these are the ones that you need to conquer. So, your views on guilt?
I think this is bang on. I know right from my mother feeling guilty to a lot of women who work and manage households. One way to perhaps overcome this rather would be to be satisfied that I am doing the best I can. And I think eventually there are so many mornings when you're trying to juggle and then you're teary-eyed and you're like, I'm really trying my best I can. But rather than being frustrated and landing at this emotion, when we're sitting peacefully, can we decide this is what I want to do and this is what I'm doing and I'm doing my best. And nobody can question me. If a husband or a child says, you sort of help them see where you're sitting, where you stand at this. And then have that joint conversation and be mutually appreciative that I am adding so much value and you are adding so much value. Can we be happy about this and can we do this together and support each other? I also want to bring this to somebody who said self-care. It is so true that women rarely ever do self-care. Very simple thing like half an hour in your schedule would you keep just to have that cup of coffee, sit down and have that cup of coffee instead of being in the kitchen listening to your kid and also doing something else. Or any form, you do meditation, you want to run, whatever, but just take some time out for ourselves.
Yeah, I'd like to second that. I think taking care of yourself is paramount because that's what you're a driving force at home and at work. And if you can't take care of mind and body, then how do you function in all these myriad of functions that are on your plate? So make time for yourself. I think you've got to make that a part of your everyday routine. And it's one of, I live by it, however difficult the days are. And I think it gives you tremendous clarity and thought. I'm a big proponent of yoga and breathing, so I urge women to do it if you've not already done it.
No, and the funny thing about this guilt is I think it's very internal. And 80% of the time, nobody is expecting you to do it. And I've done this for 4 years of my life and I went crazy actually. And whenever I was in Delhi, I used to think about my kids, and whenever I was in Chennai, I used to think about Delhi, and then and there would be days when I'd have been at home for 5 days and my daughter wouldn't have even seen me. But on the 6th day morning when I would leave for the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning, there would be one lone teardrop, even if it was just a one-day trip. I think that's something we need to get over. I think we just get into this bindas mode like men do and say, yeah, I'm going to do this, okay. And very often I think we ask. We should change that mode to telling. I mean, for me, I've never asked anybody anytime. So, because when you ask, you're also sort of putting your own interest a little subordinate. If something is very important to you, you say, okay, I'm going. In fact, in this context of this late evening CP programs, I really don't agree. We've done enormous number of programs on Saturdays, mornings, it's on. But still the ratios are not improving. Secondly, if there is a late evening, I think you should actually tie it up with a great dinner. So find your women friends, 8 of you attend CP, push off for dinner. And anyway, there's Uber and Ola, and you don't need anybody else. So, that's about it. And how long do we have, Revati? Okay, so let's throw this more open to the audience. Do you have any questions? So I think we predominantly dealt about me time, about having to set a goal for yourself, about handling guilt, about excellence, about having to synthesize and not having to compromise. But everything finally starts from you must want to do something. So if you want to do something, then the universe will conspire, as somebody says, to make it happen. So And I can think of so many women. Look at Geeta. I mean, Geeta 3 years back would have not even imagined that she wants to come to the Tambaram branch. And God willing, she'd be a chairman next year. I have a Geeta 2 here. So, Geeta, please. I don't know how many of you knew her. So, and I know Geeta went through that phase sometime last year and she said, no, I don't think I want to come back. And I said, you must be mad. You've been there. So we have Geeta Adhiyam from Bangalore. I'm sure she didn't think about it either. She's headed the Bangalore branch, which must be one of the largest branches in India. So we have Revati, we have so many of them who, at least in their lives, tried to do something different. So there's of course Madam who teaches in the institute. So there's another Geeta. Oh, we are icon. Geeta overload. So, yeah. Any questions?
I have a suggestion. So please permit me to sit and just say a few words. When we are talking about empowerment for all the women who are already having children, especially sons above 20s, and for all the young ladies who are yet to get married and then start a family. See, we can evolve in a very phased manner only when we start teaching our sons to start working at home. See, how does a lady
How does a lady get herself empowered? Now I want to go to the institute to study, but there is some basic work at home. So what the ladies of our times, of the senior ladies did was, they never taught their sons to do any work at home. So my brother doesn't know cooking, my brother doesn't know washing clothes, my brother doesn't know anything which he can help a lady. So once at a certain time frame, I decided that I am not going to letting him off. I said, look, you have to start cooking, you have to start washing the clothes, you have to start washing whatever is necessary to be washed. I hope you understand. So what happened, it gave time for me. I said, look, you do all this work today, I am going to run after money. So there was a circumstance where I had to run after money to ensure medical treatment for my parents. And he is a physically challenged boy who cannot come out there, literally be on the streets of Chennai. So I had to take his assistance. So I put him on all the jobs. Now he is able to cook fine. When I go to his house, he cooks for me. So all the ladies present here, please ensure if you are having sons, right from now, this moment, they should start cooking, they should start washing even your clothes. Now my mother-in-law sees, when she comes home, she sees my husband washing clothes. She is very particular whether he is washing my daughter-in-law's clothes or her mother's clothes. Now there are things like this. So the discrimination must end there. There must be no discrimination at home. So all ladies out here and all girls who are going to be mothers, please ensure if you have a son, rejoice. But ensure he knows the value of work. All work he must do, only then you can come out and have a great time. Thank you.
Thanks, I agree so much with it. I think there's just no other way, this is pen ultimatum. There are 3 thoughts that I had that I wanted to share.
I have a question to the panelists.
Go for it.
See, sometimes we talk too much about empowerment and all that, and we try to project women who is capable of doing multitasking. You are capable of doing that. You are capable of doing this. We try to give too much of a big picture, and we force them we force them to do everything at the cost of compromising either on their health or whatever, or we try to put them feel very inferior if they don't try to do it. There are typically a lot of pictures which we see, right, where a woman is handling a kid, too many
serials.
Yeah, see, sometimes we try to project that they are capable of doing too many things, and we try to make it as a pressuring point on women as well. Because
who's the we? Are you talking about society?
See, it's both the society, it's society as well as the people around you, and most importantly the women themselves. We think that we have a pressure that no, I'll be able to do this, I'll be able to do that because I'm supposed to do all these
leave it, set your boundaries. You don't have to, see, again,
sometimes the empowerment, what we talk about is so much that the pressure that is being built up is also a little high.
On the contrary, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I haven't really thought about it, so I can't comment. But again, I have another. I was sort of very, in a sense, slightly taken aback by Justice Chitra. Do you think in today's world, in the profession that we exist in, you can be a radical feminist? What are the audience's views on it? Can you afford to carry your scars of the past and say, no, 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 in 9th standard that boy, you know, and then my 11th standard teacher, and then my husband's mom, or my whatever. Can you afford to carry those baggages and let it reform or let it transform you into a feminist? You think it's even worth it? No, I think. Yeah, cash on it. Yeah.
When the person came, you should have charged him about 100 times more.
Yeah, I'm sure she did also, yeah. How do you know?
In this question of whether
Radical
we have
feminist.
Radical feminist. I still remember I started my practice 26 years back. The clients, some of the clients, most of my clients are very conservative people. They never used to look at me eye in the eye.
They don't know what they missed.
Yeah. Okay. He speaks to the table in front of me, but I speak to him, try to make him listen to me, look at me. But what you need most is patience, and don't let go. If you think that that fellow has insulted me, so I have to get back at him, you are the one who loses.
Let your work shine.
Yes.
Actually, that's
Yes. After 26 years, he talks to me eye to eye. Everything is there. Okay. He thinks I'm his mother or whatever. So that's how it happens. So we have to wait. Sometimes it is not even that they don't respect you. Sometimes they are shy. They don't know how to talk to women. So we have to give them the benefit of doubt and dig your heels in.
And the comfort. I think,
Yes,
yeah,
you have to give them the comfort and give them the space to come around.
So I'll also share the same thing, almost similar to Parvati. When I started practice, my husband was already in practice, I joined him. I used to be so proud when somebody comes and consults me. When my partner is not there, that is, he'll come, he'll consult me and he'll say, okay sir. Sorry madam, sir, எப்போ வருவாரு? எதுக்கு sir? இல்ல அவர்கிட்ட ஒரு தடவை கேட்டுக்கிறேன். Okay. So you know what, I think thanks to many things I did not talak my husband at that point of time. So it took me a few years to decide to set up a separate line for myself, because you know it was taking a huge toll on my self-esteem and incidentally also affecting the family. So I had to take a call. I decided, okay, both of us are parallel lines in practice, we will not meet. I will not see your clients, you don't come and interfere in my work, I'll set up my own line and you do yours. So we have to find out means, you know, where we don't lose our self-esteem, generate your own sources of income, sources of practice, sources of confidence, because you know, when you are able to successfully implement something, that sense of pride is really great. So you have to work around the system. I always say, go along with the system and then go around it and beat it. You know, you can't keep berating the system. Then you are going to spend a lot of time only berating and not achieving anything yourself.
I just want to add here, you know, I also am in business with my husband, and I think it's a two-edged sword. You know, you can't trust anybody more, but then you also carry the dynamics of home, and you're juggling this whole protocol at work. You know, are you overstepping your bounds? And then to top it all, I have a father-in-law in the office as well. So I think overall, you know, you're always battling this protocol that society has sort of set, you know, here. Particularly, I think it's a little more predominant in the South, where you know so I find it really hard sometimes to set the line and say, Appa, you need to do this. You know, this has to be done, or it's unacceptable that it hasn't been done. So, you know, I kind of go back to what you said, that you really need to step back and navigate those. To keep that equilibrium, both at home and at work, particularly if you're in business with a partner. I think it brings in this whole dynamics of what is acceptable at work may not be acceptable at home and vice versa, right? And then you've got employees looking up to you. You need to send the right message, so I deal with it all the time. should take it very seriously. Come, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I mean, my first reaction is just say one slap, but then there are smarter ways of handling it. I think zero tolerance. And I don't talk about physical. In any form, if somebody is putting you down, it's not worth it. Unless it's immediate family and it's a grind. I also have another question for you. Do a lot of times we don't, do we, you know, in that being garb of wanting to be professional, don't we sort of attempt to rope in our spouses enough? Don't you think they're actually nice people? Because for me, my first port of call has been my spouse, and I have 2 great men friends and 2 great women friends. So in that order, I call and crib. I think it's very helpful. I mean, how many of us actually, you know, even go back and tell our spouses, okay, I've done all this. And if not, why? They listen. You just have to make it interesting enough.
Yes. Listen.
Oh, very nice. I think that's the other thing. He can be an engineer for all that you know, but then, you know, I think it really helps to get into that first point. And secondly, do we make enough friends? Somehow after school, I think she spoke about it, is one of them, no, the buddy bonding. I think that's one of the reasons why men are just really far ahead. I mean, they go to a pub, and then there's always a catch up. My spouse still goes back to his Vidyamandir friends, and Paru is one of them. All the Saturday mornings they have to walk in Nageshwara Park. You're not there. Okay, so yeah, but why don't we do that more? And maybe that was a good start to start from here.
They meet on Saturday evenings too.
Oh, Saturday, yeah, I know.
Or sometimes Friday.
Coming from a very different scenario, I just wanted to say, when we say feminism, we don't mean revenge. I really wanted to bring that point. What we mean is, can we lead not like a man but like a woman? Because for all this time, the whole position of power, or how someone should lead or run a company, has always been how men have been doing it. So now, pardon. Now if we are leading like women, what we are saying is not that we go back and say, hey, you did this to me, this was wrong, but just being sensitive that now I'm a 45-year-old woman or a 40-year-old woman at the top of this. Can I be sensitive that when a 26-year-old is joining, I don't have to be too harsh on them because I know what they went through. And I don't expect the same thing that my boss expected of me because I'm a different person, I know what their struggles are. Can you be sensitive to them? That's how you empower other people. Because we have also lived those struggles. And that's what I think for me feminism at workplace means, that I have struggled and I don't want people to have similar struggles because what's the point of my struggle then? It's like mistakes, right? You make one mistake, you make 2 mistakes, but make different mistakes. If you're making the same mistake, you're not learning. So that was one thing. And second, about the world and media, about society, what is expected of us, I always tell people, because I work in menstruation, very, very difficult, and I ask people to use menstrual cups which is intervaginal. And I work with collectors, IAS officers, it's a stigmatic point of view, but also people ask, why do you want to care about environment when you're talking about menstruation? Different spaces. And I tell them the same thing, whatever I do, the reason has to be mine. As in, if there's a question posed at me, do you want to be a journalist, or whatever that you want to do, why do you want to own a company as a woman? Or why do you not employ men? Whatever it is that comes up, I give them the answer which is correct for me, which works for me. Instead of telling, Dunya mein aisa hota hai, Oligatle Ibigam 15 August, society works like this. So far we have never seen a woman marine driver who's done XYZ things. Maybe 20 years ago that was a truth. But then things shifted because somebody went there and thought, this makes sense to me, I can do it, so I'm going to do it. So things come from a place of I feel like we're always coming from a place of world, society, family, so many different things. For once, can we think if this works for me? If it works for me, I will ask my husband to cook. If it works for me, I'll ask people to share responsibility. That's all. Like coming from a soft place of leading.
The best thing now is nobody has to cook. You can just Swiggy it.
Yeah.
So it's even better. Empower everybody who has a mobile at home with an app, and then you're done. So I'd like to wrap up this session if there are, and I think we're running out of time. So just like to end up with a very nice quote which I've always been very fond of, and most of you must have heard it. It's the Shakti Shloka, and it says, Yadhevi Sarvabhuteshu. It says Shakti Rupena Samstita, Vidya Rupena Samstita, Lakshmi Rupena Samstita. But it ends very well. It says Yadhevi Sarvabhuteshu, Matru Rupena Samstita. And that's what it's all about. It's, everybody can be anything else, yeah, but only you can be and I'm not using the term mother here, but I think I'm just using the term female or lady here because I think you're just immeasurably superior to the rest of the race. Thank you very much for being here. And until we meet next year, I'm sure the next time we meet will only be next year. We'll see if we can sort of, move on to the next thing or try and just discover a better ourselves. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a lively interaction, and thank you for all your insights on how to cross the barriers, hit our goals. We are grateful for your time and efforts you took to come here. I would like to request CA Anisha ma'am to present a memento to CA Sripriya ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to call CA Sashikala ma'am to give a memento to Prabha Srinivas. Thank you. Let's now give a standing ovation to all.
Okay, let me start with it. How many of you are practicing yoga here? Very few hands are coming up. Are you all still practicing? Fantastic. Good. So you guys know what yoga is. It is much more than a physical exercise. I hope you know that. It helps to mold the person inside out. Yoga is a timeless health discipline that originates from Rig Veda, and it's very popular all over the world. The main purpose of yoga is to transform the individual in every respect, in every aspect rather, on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level, in order to acquire abilities to lead an organized lifestyle with a sense of balance. In today's fast-paced world, I find many people are neglecting their health. They are not aware that the rushed routines, the traumatic relationships, the demanding jobs, working till late in the night, having a wrong posture all through the day, eating unhealthy food, sleeping late in the night can cause huge imbalances in the mind and body. Disturb the functioning of the systems, and if this is not corrected, then it can lead the individual to many health issues. Yoga is for everyone. People of any age and any condition can practice yoga. But what we need is faith, strong motivation, and a positive attitude for practice. It is very important to learn yoga from an experienced and knowledgeable teacher, because the teacher will understand the needs of the students and guide them to overcome their mental and physical limitations, which can manifest as an obstacle during their practice. And asanas and pranayama are very powerful tools in yoga, which unlock the hidden potential and correct the imbalances, repair the damages, enhance energies, and help protect the individual from many health issues. Breathing is a very important function in our body. And all the other functions largely depend on breathing. We get oxygen only from breathing. Oxygen is a vital nutrient that not only keeps us alive, but also healthy. In normal breathing is very shallow breathing, and there is inadequate oxygen during normal breathing, and this is not sufficient for the systems to function well, and that is the reason the ancient yogis created pranayama. Pranayama is yogic breathing. It is a conscious prolongation of inhalations, exhalations, and retentions. It is a scientific technique that corrects imbalances, removes toxins, purifies the mind and body, relaxes, calms, and prevents many health issues. Since we have very limited time, there are many types of pranayama. I would like to explain, since the time is limited, I'm not going into that. And again, pranayama, since because of stress and irregular lifestyles, the breathing gets affected. People do not understand that. There are a lot of irregularities in our breath. There is something called an irregularity in the nasal breathing, irregularities in the respiratory rate, and all these will be corrected in pranayama. Because of these irregularities, you hardly breathe in enough oxygen, and the out breaths are also not efficient. So inhalation energizes, and exhalations removes the impurities. This is what we need to understand, and according to yogic breathing, exhalations must be much, much longer than the inhalation. Let's move ahead to asanas. Asanas are bodily movements created for our anatomy and physiology. There are many, many types of asanas, and each one of these asanas have a bunch of benefits. I'm here going to take up only few asanas: standing, lying down,
sitting, and also inversions. The ancient yogis created these asanas based on our practices. We stand, we sit, we lie down. So they've created asanas in all these positions. They have also created inverted postures going upside down, and this truly helps in removing maximum toxins and improving, transforming the health mentally and physically. So here, we've come to the standing asana. This is one of the first standing asanas called Tadasana. Most of you, whoever is practicing yoga, must be understanding on this. So we will be talking about these asanas and their benefits on our health. Tadasana is a standing position which teaches us how to stand straight and how to keep our body steady. Unless our body is mind is steady, our body cannot be steady. So we have to fix our eyes onto a spot and focus inwards. The distribution of weight between the two legs should be even, and we need to remove tensions from the body when we stand in Tadasana, the mountain posture. Now this posture relieves fatigue, lethargy, stiffness. Yes, as you stretch your hands upwards, the stiffness in the shoulders are being removed. There is a stretch in the sides of the body and in the spine. Then it builds mind-body awareness and stability. You start see, when you're focusing inwards, you start feeling the different parts of the body and try to remove tensions and to bring the steadiness. Then it improves muscle and joint. It may look as a simple asana. No, when you start doing it, you would find that I'm not able to be steady. It's the steadiness that matters, and that gives in all these benefits. Then it corrects the postural defects like drooping shoulders, hunched back, knocked knees, and bowed legs. And then when we raise our hands upwards, it also stimulates the lungs and the heart and also the abdominal organs. So if you want to start with the standing postures, you can start with Tadasana. We move on to the lateral stretching called Trikonasana. Here I've showed you, it's basically pictures which normally would be more apt for a beginner with support. When the hands don't stretch as much, you use the strap to stretch your hands evenly, and then you use a wall to stretch to give the right stretch in the body, where the hips don't come forward, and you get the right extensions in your spine and the rest of the body. Then you have the person who has, the third one is the posture which is done by the experienced person who can stretch really all the way to the side. So this posture enhances not only the flexibility in the neck, shoulders and spine, relieves fatigue, back pain and leg pain, relieves indigestion, acidity and ulcers. It makes huge difference. Laterally when you stretch, then the areas in the abdomen goes through a change. Helps control menstrual and menopausal. There are changes happening in the pelvic floor as well. The abdomen and pelvic region are close to each other. Changes in the abdomen, you will find changes in the pelvis. Now why pelvis? Because the legs are apart. You keep your legs beyond the shoulder width, and then you get to open up and stretch your pelvis, and thereby getting benefits for the organs that are there in the pelvis. They get to function well. We move on to the next, a backward stretch. Now here, many people as beginners find it difficult if the shoulders are very tight. The shoulders play a very big role in boosting energy in the upper body. And hips play a very big role in helping our, giving strength to pelvis, abdomen, and the legs. Of course, the hips divide the legs and the spine, so the hips are again very important. This posture enhances flexibility, strength in the shoulders and arms when you rotate, when you stretch your arm backwards. In everyday lives, we don't do that. We don't stretch our hands backwards. It's very important to stretch our hands backward and to improve the flexibility in the shoulder joints. The flexibility in the shoulders, in the elbows, and the wrists. All these joints become stiff with age, and when you don't use them in the way they have to. Then it also relieves frozen shoulders and cervical spondylosis. So it's a great posture that the stretch hands backward is very beneficial for stiff shoulders. Then the reverse rotation shoulder joints. As you bend forward, you reverse your shoulders to bring your head down and the hands go up. So that's a fantastic movement for the shoulders, and it literally heals the frozen shoulder in a matter of few days if you do it every day several times. And the stretch that you do by stretching your hands to the back and stretching your whole body helps back pain. It helps to realign your spine, aligns the discs in the spine, and then gives you a relief for back pain. We move to the next set of backward bends. These are deeper backward bends, of course with support. When you do it with support, then the body moves easily. If you have the flexibility to do it without support, you could do that. This refreshes the brain because, you know, there's a huge stretch of the upper body and you hang your head down, reverse the head, and that causes stimulation in the brain, the endocrine glands, mainly the pituitary, and also all the other organs. The lungs, the heart, the abdominal organs are all, you know, highly stimulated. Energizes the spine. Again, there is a compression in the spine as you stretch the front body. The chest, the abdomen and pelvis moves, and then all the functions of all these organs improve. Now, most of us have fear to do, you know, the fear is a natural quality, and this is overcome through backward bends. When you keep bending backwards, the fear gets reduced. It's very important to boost your self-confidence. We move on to forward bends. I've here shown you deeper forward bends. The first one is called Uttanasana. The second one, the one below, is called Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend. Forward bends are restorative, exactly the opposite of backward bend. So for a person who has back pain, will generally do gentle forward stretches because that's easier for the body, and then go on to compress your spine, then it will not hurt you. For a person who's been practicing for a long time, can do any sequence that will not hurt. Now, these are difficult forward bends for a person who doesn't have much flexibility. Anyways, you can do it in the way your body allows. That's the first rule in yoga. You know, you shouldn't strain yourself. You should understand your body and do as much as your body allows. Now, these postures, which are shown here, enhance overall strength, builds confidence. The fact that your head is down, you're stretching your spine in the reverse and bringing your head downwards, directing the blood supply to the brain, that boosts confidence, that brings overall strength. As I told you, forward bends are restorative and refreshes the brain because your head is down, and other vital organs and glands, the glands like, you know, pituitary, the thyroid, the adrenals are all energized. That relieves fatigue, headaches, hypertension. Forward bends are supposed to give relief for headaches and hypertension. Anxiety, depression, insomnia are also, benefited. You get to heal these problems as well when you do forward bends. The second one, especially bringing the head all the way to the floor. Intense stretching of the spine. And here, when you bring the head down to the floor, make sure the weight is taken by the legs and doesn't come onto the head. The way you stand, spreading your legs apart, you take the weight. The legs take the weight. And when the head is brought down, there is no weight in the head at all. That's an advanced practice. This helps in healing headaches, hypertension, and prepares the body. This is called a semi-inverted posture. The forward bend is called a semi-inverted posture, and this helps you to do the inverted postures like Sarvangasana, Halasana, and Sirsasana. Fantastic. Now we move on to the next posture, twists. Now, again, just as we have the forward lateral bends, forward bends, and the back bends, the twists are another specialty of yoga. Twists are supposed to squeeze out the toxins from the body and bring in fresh supply of blood. So they are very beneficial for back pain. They're very beneficial for abdominal issues. So let's go through the benefits. Enhances flexibility and strength in the legs and spine. Rejuvenates the spine and massages the abdomen. The twist gives a nice squeeze in your abdomen and gives a nice massaging effect to the abdomen. It relieves menstrual. When the abdomen is squeezed, you have the effect in the pelvic floor as well. So it helps to give relief for menstrual and menopausal issues. And of course, the one which is done down helps to give relief for stiff shoulders and neck. Any questions? Anybody has any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
I have a shoulder problem. My shoulder gets dislocated. So none of these asanas will actually suit me. How will I be able to?
It could be because of overuse or underuse of your shoulders.
I've had
Yeah.
7 times dislocated.
Then your shoulder joint is weak. You need to be careful. And when you sleep in the night, make sure you don't lie down on that shoulder. And that causes more strain on the joint because and probably you are vitamin vitamin D3 deficient. See, please look into it. So when any pain in the body, whether it is joints or muscles, does not go even after physiotherapy and exercise, it still prolongs, then there is some nutritional deficiency in you. Please understand that. Vitamin D3 deficient, you start taking that along with calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium, many minerals to go with it, in order to repair your shoulder joint naturally with some nourishment. That also gives nourishment besides the exercise. So you do gentle shoulder movements. Don't do anything harsh. The same movements you can do, but very gently. So you need somebody to guide you because you are the best judge of your body. So don't do to the extent that it hurts you. Okay? But keep doing them, and then those postures will not be sufficient. You need to add on to other postures as well gradually to heal your shoulders. So that it's a very, very, very common problem, shoulder joint pain and hip pain, knee joint pain. These are all the common pain. So you need to be careful. As the age advances, there is degeneration happening. So you need to be alert. You need to become aware of the weak areas within the body and work on them. Did I answer your question?
But still, it is pain and weakness is different. But dislocation.
Dislocation happens when it moves out of place, right? So you need to be careful. You need to do some massaging as well. You need to do some massaging as well regularly, and then give some hydrotherapy as well. You know, hydrotherapy, yoga, breathing, pranayama, oxygen. You require oxygen for the muscles. So that there's constantly, as I told you, the normal breathing does not provide enough oxygen for our system. Especially when we lead a life like that, we need to pump in more oxygen into our body, and that happens only when you practice pranayama for at least half an hour to 1 hour in a day, in bits. 15 minutes morning, 15 minutes afternoon, 15 minutes evening. Kapalbhati, have you heard about it? Kapalabhati, the rapid, the forceful exhalations with the snapping of the abdomen. It's one of the most powerful pranayama to heal any part of the body. You need to do that to heal your muscles. Toxin, every out breath you're removing toxins. Very important. The toxins get accumulated every day. Wrong thinking, wrong food, improper breathing, wrong postures, improper lifestyle, all build up toxins. So you need to be very aware of how your postures are, what your thoughts are in the mind, all these things. Awareness is very important to maintain health. Pranayama. Yes, please.
Pranayam should be done only in sitting position, is it?
Yeah, very good question. There are people who have back pain and who cannot sit, can do it lying down as well. Because pranayama is very important, that's the only way you get oxygen for the systems. See, oxygen is important for every organ in the body. It's very, very important for every body. When the oxygen is insufficient, the toxins build up. The immune system requires oxygen to drive away the viruses and the bacteria. When the environment has less oxygen, cancer builds up. You must be knowing that. So practicing pranayama every day for a long duration is very beneficial for our health. Now, you said lying down. Yes, I would prefer, the best thing is to do sitting down. If you can sit down and do pranayama, it's very good. If you cannot, then you lie down and practice. But I would advise you to sit down and do pranayama because your spine should be straight. And lying down, there are some pranayama which you can do lying down. Have you heard of Ujjayi? Dirghaswasam, deep breathing, Ujjayi can be done lying down. I have seen people in institutes, in health institutes, when they have huge multiple health problems, they lie down with the head a little bit raised, they practice Kapalbhati. So make sure there is no inhibition and you're able to snap your abdomen systematically. Kapalabhati is a difficult pranayama. Not everybody gets it right away. It takes several weeks for you to master. Have I answered your question? Thank you. We move on to the next. Reclining stretches. So I've come to the lying down posture. As I told you, the yogis have created these postures in the positions we normally take, in the standing, in the sitting, in the lying down positions. Now lying down, there are several postures. I have given only few here. The first one, is the best. The first one is very good. It helps you to settle down properly on the floor in the lying down position. Hugging the knees, knee hug, rest the spine well, properly, aligns the spine well, it stretches the buttocks muscle and the lower back pain is healed right away. You have a great relief for your low back when you do this, and also it gives a nice abdominal massage. There are changes in the abdomen as well, changes in the spine and the abdomen. Tight hips. So let's see the benefits. The second one is a classic posture of leg lift. Lifting the leg and making sure the legs are in a perfect right angle. The leg that I have used a strap here. If you do not have much flexibility and to get the proper angle in the body, you need to use a strap to make sure the legs are in a perfect right angle. Now, by keeping the legs in the right angle positions are highly healing. Now here, as you see, the tight hamstrings are being made flexible. It addresses the tight hamstrings, tight hips, tight hamstrings, and this also helps to heal back pain. Okay? So it brings energy to the legs, to the hips, abdomen, everywhere. The other one is lifting both the legs, the dynamic leg lifts. It's called dynamic leg lifts, where you lift both the legs all the way up and down, systematically several times. This has huge benefits for your abdomen, for your thighs. It helps you to reduce the excess weight around your abdomen and hips. So that's great. All this has to be done, of course, in an empty stomach. The ideal time to do is in the early morning. Okay? So you feel if the abdominal muscles are not strong enough, you will find a difficulty in doing this. The third one. So, and raising the hands beyond is something very difficult. If you are not able to do that, you can tuck your hands under your butt, because there is some support for your spine and hips when you do that. And you can easily lift your legs up and down. Yes, please? Do you have any doubts? Shall I move to another posture? Any one of you are doing this posture? Supta Virasana. Is anybody who does this posture? The others were all common. This is a highly therapeutic posture called Supta Virasana, Supta Vajrasana. So for doing this, you need to be able to sit in Vajrasana or Virasana. You need to have sufficient strength in your legs, sufficient strength in the joints like ankles or knees, to be able to sit. People who are sitting in the chair all day will have tight knees, tight hamstrings. You see, we hardly use the muscles in the leg when we sit on the chair. But sitting on the floor, you get to use the entire muscles, and there is better blood flow in the legs when you sit on the floor. So you guys, if you are sitting on the chair all day, should go back home and not use the chair but sit on the floor. Now this is called Supta Virasana, extremely beneficial for the whole body. It's supposed to be an immune booster. What does it do? Relieves respiratory and cardiac problems. It's beneficial for the lungs. The chest is well extended and the lungs are beneficial. Any congestion in the lungs, congestion in the heart problems are being treated with this posture. Now, I have raised the posture. If you have enough flexibility, you can straight away lie down like this on the floor without the props. It relieves digestion, indigestion. It relieves indigestion, acidity and ulcers. This is a classic posture to heal ulcer. You don't need to take any what is it called? Antacids. Antacids are chemicals, they harm you. But here we are not using any chemicals. Naturally the body gets realigned and the acid secretion is controlled, and there's more alkaline secretion in the abdomen. By just reclining yourself like this, huge changes happen in the abdomen and you overcome your acidity, and even ulcers are healed. Abdominal ulcers are healed by just reclining yourself in this position. And this is one posture in yoga which can be done after your meals. In fact, you have to recline like this after taking your meals, so that the heaviness, sometimes we tend to eat a little more. And when we eat a little more, then you start feeling heavy, and that's not a good feeling. And it doesn't help. So you need to, when you recline like this, then you overcome that issue right away in 10 minutes. Of course, you need to stay there for 10 minutes to get the biological changes happening. And then when you come out of the posture, you come out in that position. Just raise your hips and then rest your head. This is the way you come out of the posture. Any questions? We move to the next. Backward bends. These are the common, very commonly done backward bends called Bhujangasana and Dhanurasana. All of you must be doing this. Aligns the spinal discs, heals back pain, relieves asthma, what works wonders in the chest region as well, acidity, indigestion, relieves vertigo. We never lift our head up. When you are to do that every day, then you will not have vertigo. Corrects double chin, stretches the neck, refreshes the brain, lung and heart. The important organs are being refreshed here. Helps control diabetes, hemorrhoids, relieves menstrual and menopausal problems. There are huge changes everywhere. Removes abdominal fat. See, in Dhanurasana, the body weight is on the abdomen. You press the body weight on the abdomen and pelvis, and that gives a nice massaging effect to the abdomen and pelvis. And it controls overeating. So, it controls overeating, protects and boosts the immune system because major organs are being nourished. Here again, the one on the first one is Setu Bandhasana, a backward bend that precedes Sarvangasana. So this again, you stretch your spine, though it is in a backward, comes into the category of a backward bend, it stretches your spinal muscles. It stretches your spine, it stretches your abdomen and the chest. A unique posture that massages the neck and the brain. High stimulation in the brain, the pituitary gland. Rejuvenates the brain, heart, lungs and abdomen, protects the vital organs and slows the aging. Now this is for the second, which is called Urdhva Dhanurasana, the wheel posture. I've shown it with props. Not everybody can get there without the props. Here with the props it is possible. You can get into this, the wheel posture. Here again this is semi-inverted and the vital organs are completely nourished and the aging slows down. Strengthens bones, builds confidence, relieves back pain, anxiety, depression, stimulates pituitary, pineal and the thyroid glands. So endocrine glands are well nourished. Prepares the body for the inverted asanas, relieves menstrual and menopausal problems. Here, this is Paschimottanasana, a very important forward bend, which is kind of very difficult. You need huge flexibility in the spine and in the abdomen to get there. So your entire spine must be flexible. And of course your legs must be, your legs have to stretch that much in order to help the hips to, to open up and stretch the spine. Refreshes, it is also called Ugrasana. Refreshes the brain, heart, lungs, spine, liver, pancreas, all the organs of the abdomen. Kidneys. Controls hypertension and it even, controls people who have low BP. Rests the heart. Circulation is geared up in the whole body. Therefore, the heart is rested. Improves memory, huge changes in the brain. Massages the abdominal organs and pelvic organs, improves digestion, relieves diabetes, headaches, anxiety, depression, and also insomnia. Of course, the functions of the endocrine glands are improved, so all those issues pertaining to endocrine glands are all being resolved. Relieves, and prepares the body for inverted. The classic squat. Yes. Wind up. Okay. All right. This is a very important squat in yoga called Malasana. which not only it strengthens your feet, ankles, calves, knees and hips. You need to have basic strength to sit like this. Strengthens the pelvic and abdominal muscles, relieves constipation, irritable bowel syndrome. So it works on the intestines as well. Relieves hemorrhoids, low back pain, builds up the kind of strength so that you'll be able to do the sitting asana as well. And a boon for pregnant and menstrual women. Another wonderful sitting asana called Baddha Konasana. It opens up the hips and the pelvic floors. Very, very important. We move to the next, called Virasana or Vajrasana. Schools of yoga call it different names. And this basically, it's wonderful when you have the tired legs, when your legs are tired, it's good to sit in this posture and enhance circulation in the legs. It also builds up strength in the knees and ankles. And it's a good pose to do when you are after food. Here I've shown this posture using props. We move on to another sitting posture called Upavishta Konasana, a wide-angled sitting position which helps to open up your hips and the pelvis, relieves stiffness in the legs. It's very important for those who have menstrual and menopausal problems. It helps to improve the functions of the uterus, ovaries that are there in the pelvic floor. When the groin and the hip flexibility improves, then you do not get hernia. Now these are the classics for twists. The twist can be done on the chair. Those who are not able to sit on the floor can do the twist on the chair as well. The other one is called Viparita Karani. Something, legs up on the wall, which every one of us should do every day. At the end of the day, it's good to do Viparita Karani. Take your legs up on the wall, and this helps to drain all the stagnated fluids in the legs, which may cause huge issues at a later date. It enhances blood flow, circulation in the whole body. We move on to the next called Sarvangasana, the advanced inverted posture, Sarva Anga Asana. It helps to benefit every part of the body. Every single issue can be healed through Sarvangasana, but to get there will take a long time. And then the headstand. When you come out of the headstand, you get there to the forward bend. Headstand is magical. It's called the king of the asanas. Then we move on to the relaxation poses. The first one is called Shavasana, but I wouldn't call it Savasana. The supine relaxation, and this is the sitting relaxation, because we are not dead bodies. Then the yogis have believed that what we eat makes the person. Food is very, very important for our health. So the food is classified into Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Why? Because it's based on the 3 gunas or attributes which are present in every individual, the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas gunas. So the food is categorized into these 3 types. I'm sure all of you know about it because we are running out of time. Then I've also given you about what is Sattvic nature. Sattvic nature is built up. Only when you have Sattvic food, you get the Sattvic qualities. And when you take Rajasic food, you have the Rajasic qualities. Tamasic food gives you Tamasic qualities. And though onion and garlic have medicine properties, they are supposed to be Tamasic because they have the negative pranic energy in them. They do not calm the restless mind. Therefore, yogis do not take onions and garlic. So, please join a yoga class and explore your inner body. Understand your strengths and weaknesses. Improve flexibility, expand your breath, remove tensions, calm your restless mind, enhance your abilities to tolerate, abilities to forgive, abilities to love. Love and then feel invigorated and happy. So make a commitment for yourself to practice yoga at least half an hour every day. A short duration of practice day after day will certainly help you to clean up your mind and body and keep you free from pain and disturbance. Provide you with positive energies all through the day, and you can lead a wonderful life, a happy and healthy life. Thank you.
That was a very enriching speech, ma'am. Thank you for enlightening us with various asanas and its purpose. And now request C.A. Geeta ma'am to honor Mrs. Geeta Iyer with the shawl and
So nice, ma'am. Please come to the center stage.
I am 66, completing 66. In next 2 months I'll be 67, 3 years close to 70. I practice headstand for 10 minutes without the wall. I practice Sarvangasana for 10 minutes. I do Halasana for 5 minutes as a commitment. And I go for a walk for half an hour every day. I systematically sleep by 7:30 in the night. I do not have my dinner. It's more than 15 years that I don't take any food in the night. And I'm very specific not to eat outside food. I'm a strict vegetarian. And I practice detachment from attachments. I literally practice this and I live a life of fulfillment. I'm absolutely contented and happy. I don't have any fears, and all my students, I have over 100 children who are my students, and all of them are my children. And I enjoy teaching yoga to all my children. I get up at 3:30 every morning and do my personal sadhana. I cook my own food and I invite my students to have food with me. I believe in eating freshly cooked food.
Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. More than the PPT what she showed, a few sentences what she uttered now will take us to great heights really. Friends, please follow little yoga, little walking, have some exercise, have some time for you yourself. Okay?
I do not get offended.
We are fortunate to have this madam here today with us.
See, with the practice of yoga, there are so much changes in my mind. I do not get upset when somebody criticizes me or abuses me. I do not feel bad. You know, you develop the habit of forgiving people. You develop the habit of ignoring people. And you develop the habit of not thinking what is not pleasant. Okay? When you don't allow it to settle in your consciousness, it doesn't come back to you. And what remains is peace.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Geeta ma'am. You've given us a lot to take away today. Ladies, we are running short of time. We had 2 lovely technical sessions planned out, interactive sessions on GST and Companies Act. But unfortunately, our stomach takes over now. So what we are planning to do is we'll honor the speakers. They will share the material, the presentations. We will circulate it among everyone, and in case you want to take on any questions, you are ready to take on questions on GST or Companies Act during lunch also. So I'll request Sharda, Bhuvaneshwari and Geetanjali to come here, and just we'll honor them for having taken the trouble to prepare for the technical sessions today. Yeah, please come. And after we honor them, we'll have this draw, lucky draw.
Yes, come. Thank you very much, Revati. Shall I get
Yeah. Bhuvaneshwari, specializing in GST, she's from Tambaram branch. We'll all be available outside to take on questions. Maybe, we'll have a CPE session with them between 10 and 1, which I think would be at Tambaram branch, and 1 here also, 10 and 1, which I think will be a convenient time for everyone to come. Sharda is very, very active. She goes to colleges and takes sessions on GST. She goes to the CMA Institute. Unfortunately, we are not able to hear her today. Sharda will take 1 here and Bhuvaneshwari will take 1 in Tambaram. Geetanjali has prepared some interesting stuff for us on Companies Act. We are again unable to hear her. Oh, she's a registered valuer too. No, we are assuming all of us are chartered accountants. We will not say I am a chartered accountant. All of us are. Yeah. Has everyone filled in the lucky draw slip and dropped it in the box? Last chance. Yeah? Yeah. You want to see the sarees?
Take the sarees and show it like that.
MC, take the sarees.
I can take which one I like.
Yeah. You can take it to show it to people.
The box is open, lucky. So, hope you would have seen the sari color and all. These are the 3 silk sarees. Show me, Sharda. Members total. Very similar. So, have you all put your tokens inside that? Last chance. Pollena potrungo. Second time podakudadu. Second time podakudadu. Kandupichiruvom.
Yeah. So it's a
special gesture from Kanjipuram branch. So now fast beat. First prize. Vendikongo, Kannamudikongo, Mridula Chari. Kanji Pattu, original Kanji Pattu. Yeah.
நம்ம காஞ்சிபுரம் பிரான்ச் காரலாம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்தோம் கீழ கையை விட்டு மேலே
அடியில இருந்து எடுத்தேன் நல்லா ஃபாஸ்டா குலுக்கிட்டேன் ஓகே ப்ளீஸ் பிலீவ் மீ ஓகே so yeah Mridula Chari please come give a big hand.
Geeta and ma'am will hand it over to her.
இங்க வெச்சுக்கோ Lucky draw for members. First prize goes to Mridula S. Chari.
morning and evening saree.
Not for yourself.
Geeta Ramanujam.
Please, babe, it's your name. Membership number padchirgo.
Ma'am, you were just telling.
Ma'am,
I was just telling you 2146 in the morning. No?
what's your membership number?
Because many
Please
Geetas
come
are
up.
there.
Yeah, okay. We will come down there.
Today is
I
Geeta
would like
Day.
the green one. I have so many blues.
Sorry. Oh my God. This is not fair.
Rendu second.
Yeah, you want the green?
Yeah.
Blues நிறைய இருக்கு.
No problem. No problem.
Both are equal. Hey, really lucky. I never believed this.
You are lucky.
One nice snap. I have to send it to my husband immediately. Thank you.
Congrats. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. So nice. Enjoy.
See, we all came very early, so my paper was down bottom. That's why I told her churn it out and then pull it out.
No, you should actually thank me.
What? Really? She's the one. Thank you.
I said Geeta
By giving it to
Our photo.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's pick the third winner. Heartbeat just are there. Repair. Lakshmi Malini. Okay. Yeah, come. Yeah. Have the staff all come? Staff members are here. SARC and Kanjipuram staff members. Are you here? You have two lovely sarees from Kanjipuram branch. Chikra ulla vaanga token podacha ellarum. Right. Please come in. On the box. Balance box. Lucky draw. Members, please wait. Some more prizes are there from SARC also. Okay, please stay back. Another 5 minutes. Give it. Or Deepa Lakshmi. Deepa Lakshmi. Yeah, please come forward. This is the sari. Second prize for staff members. Soumya G. Soumya, are you there? Number put. Box mari put. Sorry. Yeah. Adula put. PK Subbalammal. Winners are excluded now. So now staff and members together, SARC has given some items. So we are going for lucky draw. I request Bhuvaneshwari, our Women's Committee Chairman, to take a slip. Pechi, she there? Varlana. Token vandhudu.
I did see her from morning.
Even I did. Yes, Jayalakshmi member. Suitcase from SARC. Yeah, this is the one.
Good, thanks.
Wait. Good.
PK Suguna, member.
Suguna. Another suitcase. Congratulations. Purnima, member. B. Purnima. Butterfly pressure cooker. Gift from SARC. One more. Last one.
Okay, ladies, before you leave, please collect the sponsor kits.
Now this goes to Meena Madi, telecaller of ICAI. Meena Madi, irukangla? Yeah, please come. Very good.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
Please join us for lunch. Delicious lunch is awaiting you there. Have lunch and have a great day.
MC is